Welcome, everyone,
Hello.
far and wide. We're here today with more class discussions. Today we're going to be looking at Bard and Skald, aka the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And if we have time, we'll move on to the actual Barbarian, but we're not going to rush ourselves to make it happen because we want good discussion.
Yeah, we kind of had to cut our talking down a bit at the end of last week's.
Yeah, we'll try to
Podcast.
avoid that if we can.
Yeah. We did have 4 last week, though.
Right, yeah. Like, I feel
That's
like we
true.
probably can do 3, but, you know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What up, Lore? What up, Igor?
Yo,
What up,
guys, how's it going?
we'll do quick intros, and then obviously the longer details at the end. Everyone across all 3 streams, it is I, Unsung NPC. Very happy to be back this Thursday. We're doing 2 in a row to make up for the fact that we missed 2 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
And whose fault is that?
It's mine. It's my work's fault. It's how it is. My freaking job.
Imagine working.
Yeah. So glad to be here. Excited for this. Excited for more Baldur's Gate eventually, and excited for the start of our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign tomorrow night. So
Oh, is that starting up tomorrow?
that is 9:30
Yep, tomorrow.
EST. 9:30 p.m. EST.
Nice.
It's gonna be good.
Nice.
Cheers.
Lord Spire, you go next.
All right. I get to be number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Chris with Lore Spire here. As Unsung said, we've got our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign starting tomorrow night. That's definitely the most important thing going on. So anybody who is available, be sure that you got your notification bells turned on, and that you are there tomorrow night to have some fun with us. Seems like it's going to be an awesome time. Hope to see you all there. We did stream Dark Envoy lately. Pretty awesome game. It was just the demo, but I'm gonna try to get a video after this is done made for that. And anyways, yeah. Besides that, we're kind of just waiting for the Last Arquarians DLC to come on out. All right, you're up, Pondor.
All right, hey, I'm Pondor. I'm not going to be part of the Pathfinder game tomorrow because they do that while I'm at work. Instead, I'm going to be forcing myself to go through Kanto with Justin Ekins, so that's going to be interesting. I do, Pokemon speed runs. I'm currently going through Wrath of the Righteous. I almost said Mythic Isles, the Midnight Isles DLC. I'm on lap 7 of my 3rd run through. Just about to get started on that. And I'm probably going to actually finish that up on Sunday. I don't normally stream on Sundays, but I kind of overslept yesterday. Missed my stream entirely. Woke up at around 8:30, somewhere along there. Felt like going live for a half hour. Probably not the best idea. So I'm just going to do a long stream on Sunday to make up for it. Since I don't have to work, I don't have a strict out time. So yeah, I think we're just going to go until we finally finish my first full trip through the Midnight Isles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right.
The Bard.
So,
Bards.
yeah. Bards. Oh,
The
how I
Bards.
hate thee. Let me count the ways.
No, I should probably a 3 difficulty.
Lies.
3-star
Give it a
difficulty.
5.
Many class skills. I'm pretty sure it's actually all of them.
Yeah.
If it's
I would say that bards are super difficult to kind of like master. It's just looking at it is overwhelming.
they have a very low skill floor to be able to bring them into being useful. Like, even if you don't at all utilize the vast majority of what they do, if you just hit that fucking inspire courage at the beginning of each fight, your bard is basically doing like 80% of their job.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. They are a 6 spellcaster, 6 level spellcaster. Light armor, simple weapon, proficiency in shields. I always forget that they can use shields.
Yeah, has anybody ever done that? I'm sure somebody has, but
Well, like you would need to have only a one-handed weapon in them, and crossbows and bows are both two-handed, which is what most I feel bards are going to have equipped most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to go for a melee bard, which is odd, but it is what it is.
They get a lot of
doable.
passives
Maybe
towards
doesn't feel right, but it's
boosting-
doable.
They get a lot of passives towards boosting like knowledge and lore skills, using those skills untrained, jack of all trades for even more skill bonuses, inspire competence to increase skill checks. Granted, those are competence bonuses, which I think come around fairly frequently for items.
Yeah,
So,
if you have an item with a with a stat boost, it's almost always going to be competence.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
But depending on what version of the game you're playing, like in the DLCs, you're not at all guaranteed to have an item with every stat bonus.
True. I would definitely can benefit from it for like perception checks in a long dungeon where you might not be able to see traps. Because there's not like a ton of perception based items, and those ones usually go to characters with specific combat sets because a lot of them grant other abilities as well.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do is mainly use it and get that bonus to everything, but get the bonus to perception most of all, then go through a dungeon and do traps or whatever. With lingering performance, you don't even have to use like a lot of rounds to find everything.
Yeah.
So,
Or just do what I do and just blunder straight into traps half the time anyway.
that's what our pets are for, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. I would like to say I hate bardic performance until you get it as a move or swift action.
I don't mind it either way because what else is the bard gonna do?
I know, but
Oh, Chromatic Jester is saying that he usually has his bard melee and it works out pretty well. So seems like
Really?
he's into the combat for his bard. But yeah, and he's of the mind that the bard is the best, which is not my mind. But
I mean, I like bards. I'm like do not get it twisted. I do enjoy me a good bard. Currently using one in my DLC run.
To be fair,
Very poorly, I will add, but I am using one.
With some of these sound-based evocation spells, being in melee makes sense because a lot of them are cones.
That's true. That's true.
You get like blur, mirror image, and displacement.
I mean, you get a 3-4 base attack bonus as a bard, so I don't really see like being in melee like that much of a detriment, especially because most of your buffing and stuff's going to be done outside of combat.
yeah.
I guess it just depends on your songs, which personally I don't find their songs nearly as useful as you guys seem to.
All I know is I used Fascinate in Kingmaker all the time on a bard, and there was literally not anyone that we fought that was like
I
impervious.
used it once, and it saved my life on my first playthrough. I used it against Hargolka.
Nice.
He
dude.
had ripped through my fucking front line. I only had my casters left, and I had Lindsay use Fascinate on him.
You can
And
fascinate
it
all the trolls.
saved my
Trolls fucking
life.
stupid. Trolls are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You can fascinate all of them and the kobolds all at once.
Yeah. And like if you have better morale bonuses, like say you have, greater heroism on everybody or something, Dirge of Doom can cause everybody to become shaken, which
which is a huge bonus.
will activate stuff like
Shaking's
Shatter
great.
Defenses and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dirge of Doom. I think is by far the best thing that they have going on because of Shatter Defenses. Like for me, like that's if I'm using a bard, like that's what
Soothing
I'm using it for.
Performance is a giant AoE that gets rid of fatigued, sickened, and shaken.
Do all bards get that? I thought that was just
Yeah. No, right here, 12th level.
Okay.
That's pretty big. It uses
I think-
4 rounds,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah,
you keep
it's
boosting your
4
rounds,
rounds,
it's
though.
fine.
Well, like I have, I think on my bard in the DLC run that I'm using, I think I have like 36 rounds per day of performance.
So does this use up 4 rounds of your performance?
Yes.
I've not used
Yes.
it. The way
Yes.
that I read it is that it requires 4 rounds of continuous performance.
No.
So I thought that well, that's what it says.
It does.
And,
yes,
like,
it does.
That led me to believe that you had to perform for 4 rounds and then the effect happened.
Oh no.
Which
It's
I
an
was kinda
effect.
like,
It just uses
that's
4 rounds.
extreme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a toggleable. It's a use. It's just an activated ability.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, it's instant. It
That-
just
that
if you have 36 rounds, it'll
definitely
drop
makes
it to 32.
better than I thought it was then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I use this. Hi, kitten. I use this outside of combat regardless. So either way, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like that's
And-
where I would.
oh,
think of
Igor
use it,
makes a
but
good
that at
point.
least makes it usable in combat.
Igor makes a good point. Light armor hurts a little, so give the bard
Yeah.
a reach weapon.
Yeah,
enough.
that's what I was actually going to suggest. That's what I do with my Skalds and the Skald and Bard.
It
at
makes
least.
sense.
Yeah. Reach
I
weapons,
mean,
good idea.
yeah, I will say like getting inspired heroics at level 15 kind of sucks because everyone is
Yeah.
gonna have like dodge bonuses to AC. Like it's not hard to get those at that late
But
in the
on the other hand, dodge is one of the ACs
Does stack
that
though.
will stack.
Does it?
Yeah, dodge.
Yeah,
stack.
most dodge bonuses will stack. So
Most will stack.
yeah.
Okay.
I thought all did, but if it was,
I think all of them, but I'm not 100%. So
Okay.
I will commit to
That's
saying
not bad.
most.
At least most of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the bonus to saving throws is whatever because you can just use. I mean, +4 is fine, but to use that in your bard performance instead of just casting Good Hope.
Good Hope will only be a +2 though.
Yeah, but
So it's this
+2
is
versus
double what that is.
True, but it's also like that you have to use that performance and nothing else.
And you can
matter
get that saving throw bonus from Greater Heroism if you have, which the Bard does get.
Yeah, they get like all the like the buffy like enchantment spells.
Yep.
Heroism greater.
Where do they get that at? Level 5 or something?
It should
They
be
get it
level 6.
early? Yeah, they do. No, it's level 5.
Is it
Level
level 5?
5.
Oh, they get. That's
where I
right. They
looked
also
too,
get
that's where
Heroism at
wizards
level
get
2.
it, but yeah.
Yeah, they get it a level early from most casters.
Level 6, they get brilliant inspiration.
There we go.
Cool. So
Yeah, I mean,
And
a
then,
bard's good, but
You
it's
have the
just
best
like
song at level 20.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, and a lot of people probably already know this, but I strongly disliked Lindsay from the very start of Kingmaker, and then that turned into a hatred kind of in Act 3 whenever I got my kingdom and she robbed me and I was playing an evil character and thought I should have been able to kill her and I wasn't able to, and so
Because
I kinda
story, she can't die until she dies.
yeah, well,
Spoilers for a game that came out,
I-
6 years ago now?
I still should have been able to kill her. It kind of pissed me off. So I never used Lindsay, so I didn't really get to use a bard in Kingmaker. And then I have used them some in Wrath of the Righteous, haven't been very impressed. But y'all do make a good case.
I mean,
just
they
most
get a
the
lot
stuff
of
that's here I
very
just get
good-
from other places.
They get a lot of very good CC enchantment spells. I have been building my bard as a CC enchanter. I have vastly underused that, but I'm trying to keep that in mind as I go through into the harder islands now. Things like Mind Fog, you know, the domination spells.
Yeah.
I
There's,
used
I think
I
they don't get
used when I
overwhelming
did my
performance, right?
bard playthrough when I did a bard
Oh
trickster.
yeah, they get overwhelming presence at level 6, which I believe
Yeah,
is usually a level 8 or 9 spell, and they get it as a level 6 spell. Like it's kind of insane that they get that.
I used Serenity and Song of Discord a lot when I played my bard.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely have a lot of very good stuff. Waves of Ecstasy is hilarious.
It is
I love that
hilarious.
that spell exists. It's
In Pathfinder First Edition, there's a spell that makes someone so narcissistic that they spend their entire turns looking for a reflective surface to stare at themselves.
I remember that
Wow.
spell.
That's
I
pretty
remember that
interesting.
spell.
It's a good one.
Oh,
All right, so archaeologist.
ooh. One
Yeah.
thing,
What's
I
up?
just actually read Brilliant Inspiration again.
Uh-huh.
So it what it does, because I think you mentioned it, Unsung.
I did.
It basically gives you advantage on attacks, ability checks, and skill checks.
Yeah. Yep.
I have I have a robe that increases my cast level by 3. If I do that and get Brilliant Inspiration, get up to level 20 and take spell specialization, Brilliant Inspiration, extend spell, and greater enduring spells, I can get 24-hour Brilliant Inspiration on all of my characters.
And it works until you get a natural 20. So
Yeah.
if you don't ever get one, it'll work forever.
Oh,
It's a good
Yeah.
one to have.
I did not realize that it naturally ended if you get a nat 20.
Nat
I
20.
did not read all the way to the bottom of the spell.
Yeah, so definitely not gonna get 24 hours out of it.
Yeah,
But
never
you
mind
can
then.
get,
That's that kind of kills that play. I was like, ooh, this is incredibly good. No, not
yeah,
so much.
would have been pretty sweet.
Um, but yeah, basically Bard, as is quite obvious, it's a buffer for the most part, a support character, not really somebody that you're going to expect to like the primary. You know, they're not going to be your primary damage dealer. Most likely not going to be your tank. They're the person that you use to get all of the skill checks, and because I think they start with they start with 4 skills, 4 skill points, ranks, um, without boosting intelligence or anything.
Yeah.
Just
I
naturally 4.
I would even use like when I made my bard, I used my bard talents on like candy observer, fast stealth, familiar. Like I boosted my skills as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my go-to cuz I was like I could get myself weird like, attack things, but I know that I'm like not going to hit as much as other characters in the game anyway, so might as well dive into like what I'm going to be the best at.
So Chromatic Jester claims that we're underselling the Bard's control in both Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous, that they can turn on at will criticals. I don't know about that. Do y'all know about that?
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Neither do I. I asked him. I asked him to explain, so maybe we'll get
Um,
an explanation here. Or Igor's pretty knowledgeable. Maybe Igor will explain it for us. But we
yeah,
can move on
I
until we get an explanation, I suppose. He
at
says we
will
can.
criticals.
He says you can paralyze and incapacitate enemies. So talking about using a coup de grace,
Oh, coup de
maybe.
grace.
Yeah. Paralyze
Uh,
and incapacitate them.
paralyze.
How do you
I mean, like if you're using stuff like overwhelming presence, which I did mention, and I was talking about that I was building a CC caster. I just haven't been utilizing them as much. But yeah, there is a lot of very good crowd control spells.
Yeah.
I've
Mind
never.
Fog, Cacophonous,
If you're a trickster,
Fall, Phantasmal
this
Web.
is if you're a trickster, you can just make everyone paralyzed anyway, just by
Yeah.
walking to them.
I never really thought of them as real strong like crowd control characters, DC casters, because they only get 6 level spells, so they're at like a natural disadvantage versus full casters as far as DCs go.
Right, but they get spells early.
Yeah, yeah.
Like both
They
heroisms are gotten a level early. Like I said,
Yeah.
Overwhelming Presence is usually a level 8 or 9 spell, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but at level 6, it'll still have the same spell DC as like you get it at level 16. So a wizard's, whatever enchantment spell they have right there at 16, they're gonna have a level 8 spell. So it's still gonna have 2 more DC. Maybe the effect of it is not as good, but it still has like a better chance to hit. I don't know. So anyways, just explain. That's why I've never really thought that they would be super great at it.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
wizards can't sing.
Yeah. Thank God.
And like you also have to figure if you're using a wizard or sorcerer and a bard, you can use that sorcerer or wizard. Like bards are not going to be a very good blaster caster or anything else, right? Like they have the shout spells and stuff like that, but that's incredibly limited. Whereas you could use a wizard for that kind of stuff and not have to use them for your CCs. So it might be 2 DC less, but you're adding a lot of extra utility onto somebody who would otherwise be primarily a buffer. And then their actual in combat utility is very low, usually.
Well, that's definitely what I've used them for when I have used them. It's pretty much just stack all the buffs on them, use all the spell slots to buff, and I don't really have any spell slots left for combat usually, anyways, or not many. That's how I've usually done it. But I guess if it works, then you could have somebody else do the buffing. Okay. So archaeologist.
Sure.
All right.
Archaeologists.
Are a much more selfish bard.
Seems like a much just.
This
worse
is
bard.
like a pseudo rogue bard, because you're better at finding and dealing with traps. Well, not
Aren't
finding,
really
but
a
like
big
Yeah,
deal,
you
but-
get danger
defensive
sense
against traps, and you get luck,
just-
which is a bonus that like almost nothing else gives you, and you get luck on everything.
Attack
will
rolls,
say-
saving throws, skill checks, damage rolls.
Yeah, and you get
I-
clever explorer, you get confident explorer for trickery. You can take 10 on trickery. You get uncanny dodge for free. So it's a little more roguey. There's evasion as well.
Yep.
It's just like no sneak attack, but
I will say I do like that it gets the luck bonuses. I was trying to make some kind of like a lucky fool type build, and archaeologist was what I was trying to use for that, just because it does seem to get the most or the best luck bonuses of any class I could find.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's the only thing it gets though. I mean, almost uncanny dodge and evasion are pretty good, but it doesn't even get like improved evasion
Yeah, it
or
does.
uncanny dodge.
Advanced
Does
talents.
it? Oh, it's
Yeah.
an advanced talent.
Yeah,
Okay,
improved
so
evasion.
okay, so it can get that, but the point is, like, it's giving up everything, and then it doesn't even get sneak attack. So I don't know. I guess my point is, why not just be a
Giving
rogue?
up everything. Like
Well,
it's giving up all of the other
everything that's
songs.
bardy, everything that's bardish, I guess, except for the spell buffs.
bardish.
Yeah, like
You know?
it's
I mean,
focusing, but like if you're using archaeologist luck,
Yeah.
which is the reason that you would take this archetype. Like you would take this because you want to be a self-buffing character.
Yes.
So if you're taking this, you're not going to be using it for inspire courage or competence or any of these other things. You still get lore master, you still get bardic knowledge.
but to what end are you going to be buffing yourself?
You're gonna buff yourself real good, and then take as an advanced talent weapon snatcher and use trickery to disarm everybody, and be a fencing master. That's what I would do.
All
Just
right, this kinda-
disarm. No one can kill you if they don't have weapons. Okay.
What about all the enemies that don't use weapons, or that have natural weapons, or that
We've
cast
got 5
spells?
other party members.
Okay, all right.
Well, like I'm
Seems like kind of a wasted party spot, but all right. You know what else can't kill you? Something that's dead. So just choose a class that will make them dead. I don't know.
I
To
will
me,
say,
this is just terrible. Like you're
I will
losing
say,
everything that you would want a bard for, and you're not getting anything that's very good for it. I mean, okay, evasion and improved evasion, but you can just get those with the regular bard anyways if it's under talents,
does Bard
right?
get
Because they
advanced
get
talents
these.
though? Bard does not get access to advanced
It
talents.
may not. I'm not sure.
No, it's not on its class list. Like advanced talents is one of the things that's added to the arc.
Okay.
So
All right.
everything
So
under that, so blinding strike,
all right. So
confounding blades.
so if you want the bard, I guess spells on a worse rogue, then archaeologist is your go-to. That's
I have
what I'm
heard
getting here.
that archaeologists can actually stack up a lot of damage. I don't know how.
Definitely don't see how they could stack up more than a rogue, an actual rogue.
Curious. It's just dangerous. I'm trying to figure out how. Because I remember.
I mean, the other big difference between this and a rogue is that even with Eldritch Scoundrel, these spells are like specifically bard spells, and Eldritch Scoundrel isn't going to get all of these same spells.
Yeah.
So, if you want like this array of spells, the like buffing and debuffing that a bard typically does, then this is better. Or if you want to be charisma based, then this is better because Eldritch Scoundrel is intelligence based. It
The
depends on
more
how
I'm
you
looking,
want to play.
I am starting to not like this the more that I look at it.
Yeah, I think it's
Because
terrible.
the primary thing is a lot of the advanced talents require sneak attack damage. Crippling strike, ability that a character with this ability can sneak attack opponents with such precision that so an opponent damaged by one of her sneak attacks also takes 2 points of strength damage. Confounding blades. When a character with this talent hits a creature with a melee weapon attack that deals sneak attack damage. Dispelling attack. Sneak attack damage required. Double debilitation. I don't actually know if that's sneak attack. But like a lot of the more that I look at this, a lot of these require you to do sneak attack damage, which would then require you to take a level in another class, at least one, in Rogue or Vivisectionist or something else that gives sneak attack. So yeah, the more that I'm looking at this, the less I like it, simply because it doesn't. I wonder if Bard Archaeologist.
I mean, I think the main
I wonder
part...
if in the tabletop it gets sneak attacked.
I think the main point of this, though, is that in terms of spells and skills, you are still a bard and will outclass a rogue typically in those areas. So yes, you're not as good at dealing damage, but the game isn't only about dealing damage. So like they're going to be better at rogues and skills. They're going to be better than rogues at spells. Especially with the luck bonus. The luck bonus goes on all of the skills as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
That
okay.
that is one thing.
For it, but
I'm just saying it's not nearly as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not very good. Maybe there could be a spot for it, but
it is much more specifically a skill monkey than even the bard is.
Yeah.
Because it gives up a lot of its. Because it in all honesty, it gives up the majority of its combat utility. Because like we were saying before, if you just hit Inspire Courage, you're doing 80% of a bard's job in most parties in combat. And this one does not get that. It also doesn't get Fascinate, it doesn't get Dirge of Doom, it doesn't get any of the other songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I played an archaeologist in Kingmaker, and what I did is I did all of the trap stuff, never missed a trap, never failed a trap. I
Mhm.
did all of the skills, and then during combat, I hid.
Yeah.
But it made it fun to roleplay because in real life, if we got into a fight and I was with my friends, I would hide.
I feel
So
like
it's just
in the
entertaining.
tabletop it would be a lot more interesting, where role playing is a lot more effective,
Yeah, roleplay.
I guess, or
Yeah,
fun.
the role playing aspects, unfortunately, in these games.
But danger
I
sense is
mean,
trash, so that may as well not
unless
even
you're
be
playing,
there. Those
unless you're
confident
playing
explorer.
harder, unless you're playing harder or higher difficulty, the role playing is you can sacrifice anything for the role playing because the game just isn't that difficult.
While
Yeah, you
true, you also don't
absolutely
really
can.
get
I'm just saying
any.
you just can't have as much fun strictly role playing something with a game like this as you can with like the tabletop. Like that's the point that I'm getting at, like yeah, that role playing means less in this game than it does in the tabletop is what I'm getting at.
I mean, I get that. I think I just like the ease of like being able to put whoever in my party I want to for combat purposes and just know that every single skill I have taken care of.
Well, you could still do that if you got 6 people to take care of skills. Like you don't
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
need a
you
skill
don't
monkey when you
necessarily
have
need
6
just
people.
one person to do all the skills.
well, I do it because I interchange party members based on what quests we're doing because people talk and have dialogue during different quests.
Okay, but can't you still just do that with your normal bard?
You can, but his trickery and perception won't be as good, and he won't get the luck bonus on all of the skills.
Okay, but you've played the regular bard in your party and done that with them, and it was sufficient, right? I'm saying
Yeah,
like these things are not necessary to make better. You know, like it's kind of nice, like okay, yay, but it doesn't really have that much of a practical effect.
I
That's
mean,
my
I,
point.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like I guess that like goes along with like a lot of different archetypes, right? So like when we talked about cleric, herald, caller, any, uh, like spellcaster can be a summoner just as effective or more effective than a herald call that's specifically built for it. So the only difference is you get 2 feats for free, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that means not every spellcaster can because they would have 2 less feats. So I'm just saying, like, not every caster is going to be as good of a summoner because they have 2 less feats to invest in being a spellcaster.
I hear what you're saying. I I agree that the archaeologist is not one of the top archetypes of the bard, but
Okay.
I think I still find it useful.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's not one of the best. There's like at least 3 or 4 others that I would rather play, like if I was gonna make an effective bard. But I do like it better than regular bard, but that's just my preference.
Just say it has better flavor than the regular bard. I might give you that. Yeah. But okay. I think we all understand
I
where we're
feel
at with that
like
then.
if you're wanting a trickery and perception person, just take a secret oracle.
Yeah, but what if you want all of these? What if you want these kinds of spells specifically?
Yeah, this specific.
And then a secret
Oracles have
oracle and a
different spells.
bard.
I mean, I was saying just take a regular bard or one of the other archetypes of bard. And I think that
Yeah,
I mean, the point of
I
aside
think
maybe
I've
from
done a
flame
complete
dancer,
180 on this
I think
archetype.
any of the
Like
other
I
ones
was
are
super into it when we first looked at it,
the
and then I realized
it's
just how much because you're
pretty
giving
bad,
up a
right?
lot.
You're
Like
giving up
let's be
like
on
almost
let's
everything
be
that
straight
makes
here.
you a bard besides your spells, and you're getting almost nothing in
You're
return.
giving up almost everything. You get evasion and improved evasion. You don't even get improved uncanny dodge.
the point of an archetype in its essence is to bring pieces of different things that you like or different things that could be done better in other classes and bring them all together. So yes, a bard is better at is just as effective at all around skillness. An Oracle's probably better at finding traps. An Eldritch Scoundrel Rogue still has spells and would do way more damage, but there's different pieces that someone might want all of and to have, and this is the only archetype that combines all of those things in one thing. That's the point of an archetype. So like it's not as effective. I'll grant that to you, but it's a personal preference for some people to be able to have these types of spells, to be able to have the ability to be better at finding traps and dealing with them, and the ability to have luck bonuses, which I will add, I've played this game 4 times. I have found 2 items that give a luck bonus in this entire game. So like luck bonuses don't even really exist all over the place. There's not a ton of stuff that does it. And this is going to get you like a +4.
Okay, it does
bonus.
not. It does not scale.
No,
I was just looking up prayer real quick because I couldn't remember if prayer scaled, because prayer does give a luck bonus.
Yeah. My point was just that the abilities that they brought together in this archetype, I don't feel like are very practically effective because most of them aren't very necessary to do well in the game. That was my point. But you're absolutely right with what you're saying.
Nurok asks, do we know why Bard exists when there is Skald?
Then here you go. You got archaeologist.
We are here to find that out, Nurok.
Yeah. Why? Because Skald has one archetype that does anything with skills, and none of the other Skald performances really do anything with skills.
We will get into that as we go through this. That's kind of the whole point of this podcast, is compare them.
A court poet Skald is literally a bard, but worse.
Stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of arguing when we get to Skald.
Maybe. So I know very little about Skalds. I'll be learning a lot today about that, because I did not do my homework this week.
I freaking love the Skald.
Yeah, I do not personally like the archaeologist. I feel like you give up. Cool. I feel like you give up way too much for what you get.
Yeah.
I feel totally mechanically speaking, it is far weaker than the bard.
I agree.
And even if you're playing the main game, and even if you're only using the party members that are given to you in the main campaign, you have so many party members that are so good at basically every aspect of skills and this of the game, and that have access to basically all of the spells.
Well,
that you're going to have as a bard. You would have to do a lot to justify this particular archetype mechanically. Speaking strictly about mechanics and the way that I play the game, I do not put emphasis on roleplay when I play these games. So, speaking strictly mechanically, I do not think that this archetype brings enough to the table to justify giving up basically everything else.
I would say, like, in terms of combat or like buffing potential or debuffing potential, I would agree. I do think that, like, the main and only area this is stronger than a regular bard is its skills, because the archaeologist's luck is better than inspire competence. So this will have better skills than a regular bard would. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
I will give it that. But
I agree. Like, in combat, yeah, this isn't going to be as effective, and for buffing or debuffing, it's not either, because you miss out on the buffing and debuffing performances. I would agree with you.
There is one other aspect to this. For the vast majority of skills, there is basically a cap. And the cap of those skills is what is the highest DC that you have to pass in this game.
Yeah, and but if you're playing for the first time,
and how easy is that to hit? So like if you're guaranteed to hit that skill, without this archaeologist, then using this particular performance for that skill check is useless, right? I'm not saying that this is a reason to not take this. I'm just saying that that is an aspect that you need to keep in mind.
No, I agree with you, but it doesn't apply to anyone playing for the first time.
That's true. That's true.
Because you'll have no idea. I mean, I had skills in the 60s. I never needed skills to be in the 60s, but I fucking did it.
I mean, that is
I had,
kind of
like,
fun.
I had, like,
And it's just like, yeah, I could beat this DC by 3 times over.
So it
I
doesn't really matter.
in every knowledge and lore skill, and I literally don't think I did a skill check higher than like 40 something for those.
It kind of nullifies its effect.
But it was really funny that I
Kind
was
of
like
the
the most
point.
knowledgeable person on the.
Oh yeah,
fucking-
no. Like at that point, like it's absolutely useless to have them that high, but
Yeah.
it is fun to be like.
I will say, I
it's-
had my persuasion like in the 60s, and that was useful because that's what I used
yeah.
to paralyze everyone as a trickster.
Well, that's why I was saying a lot of them do. Like the intimidation checks, those get really high.
There's no one I couldn't intimidate.
Yeah, the intimidation DCs can get incredibly high on some of the later game enemies. So like persuasion and stuff like that, yes, I would say if you're going for an intimidation build, get that sumbitch up as high as you possibly fucking can.
That's like an active skill, right? Like it's the passive ones, like the knowledge and perception and stealth, where you're just like, at a certain point, these will plateau.
Yeah.
Right.
And like that was actually one of my favorite things about the Kingmaker speedrun, was trying to get my stealth to hit the exact point where the highest perception enemies would not be able to find me when I'm invisible. And using specific items, taking, things like stealthy and skill focused stealth and stuff like that, I was able to just get that. And that was one of the last pieces of that particular puzzle to make that speed run a lot more consistent, because you have to run through that hallway with 3 wild hunt enemies and just hope that they don't see you, and they have like a plus 47 to stealth to perception or some shit. Or no, I think it's 37, because I think you have to get up to a 57 to guarantee that they won't be able to hit you. And yeah, we were just able to do that in the route that I have. Some of that stuff can be really interesting if you're trying to like fully min-max a run.
I will say, before we move on to Beast Tamer, Archaeologist Luck does start as a swift action, which is nice.
That is really nice.
Already a swift action.
Hooray.
Because I mentioned how much I don't like the standard action, but
yes. All right, Beast Tamer. I
Beast
love
Tamer.
that when we're like on one for a long time, Igor's just like, so this next archetype.
move on, you long-winded fucks.
Yeah, we have people over here doing the same thing.
No. We will
Listen, guys. We've got like 2 to 3 hours of time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry.
Yep. We've spent 1 hour and we've gone through 2 now. So we can surely do the other, what?
It has
12,
not been an hour.
13 in the next.
It's been 45 minutes.
Oh, okay, 45 minutes. Well, I guess we did start a few minutes after 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was yeah. Okay.
And that's
Beast
also including
Tamer.
the intros and just, shooting the shit for a minute too. So this is the summoning one.
Yep. Probably my favorite one.
Listen, I will say the bonuses you get to the summons are great, but Nature's Ally is the worst. I'd rather have Summon Monster.
Wait,
Yeah, Nature's Ally does suck.
wait.
I hate Nature's Ally.
Why is spontaneous summoning here?
Because you get spontaneous summoning?
You're already a spontaneous caster.
Yeah, but you can
Is this
Yeah,
just
but
so that you
turn
don't have
any
to
of your
take it as one of your spells?
There are spontaneous casters that have spontaneous summoning things sometimes.
Yeah, you can just.
I
turn
guess
any
this
of your
just means
spells.
that you don't have to take a spell.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to learn it.
I get what you're saying. I guess they could have just given us the Nature Ally spell at every spell level, but
Yeah, I thought that's what
They did it
this
this way,
row up top was them
It
giving
is.
us this spell.
I guess
So
that's
why
true.
both?
I don't know. Good point. I don't know.
Why
That
both?
That's yeah. You know what? That's really fucking weird.
It does the same thing.
The doubt just sets in across the screens. What?
Oh, I
you
get
get
it because you can cast any nature's ally spell of the same level or lower. So it is a little bit different.
I
You know, you can
guess
cast
if you
so
want to
you can
cast a
use
worse
sacrifice a
spell,
spell slot. Yeah, you can you can sacrifice a spell slot to cast a lower level spell. I don't know why, but I'm just saying you can.
but
I mean,
There at least
I
is a
guess
tiny difference. There's a tiny difference.
he's trying to salvage this.
it makes sense. You can cast a worse spell. It's fine.
I will say we do. Yeah, we get augmented summoning for free, which is cool.
Yep,
Love
get that
it.
at level 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
That's
get
nice.
all of the inspire ferocity.
You lose out on all your bard talents, not all
But
of.
it's not about your friends anymore, Pondor. It's
No.
about your beasts.
Right. You lose
actually
inspire
only miss
courage
out
to get
on
ferocity, which
you miss out on 2 talents, inspire competence, which isn't that great anyway.
Oh, is it just
Inspire
2?
courage,
Oh, it is just 2.
yeah, and you still get fascinate, soothing performance, inspire greatness, inspire heroics. You only miss out on a little bit.
Oh. Okay. There is an explanation. So the spells up top, those are spell-like
Spell-like
abilities
ability.
that you can use 3 plus your charisma mod.
I
They're
just
not
read that
actual
too.
spells. So
Yes.
you get them, and then also you get to add them. You basically get to add them to your spell list.
That makes sense.
So there is
There you go.
actually a reason for both of these to exist. You just
Yeah,
have
because
to.
whenever you use the ability, you can actually only have one of those, but then you can use the spells too to summon however many you want with your spell slots. So yeah.
Wow! So at level 10, your Inspire Ferocity counts as Magic Fang, a level 1 spell.
Yep.
And all your natural attacks count as if they were Silver and Cold Iron, which I believe happens at if you have a +3 or better. I want to say is Cold Iron and Silver.
Yeah, I think we looked at it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Level-
it was
it was
1,
+3.
3, 4, and 5. 1 was just
Level-
magic, 3 was Cold Iron and Silver, 4 was adamantine, and then 5 was alignment, if I remember correctly.
Level 14 is adamantine for Bard and Fire Ferocity, and then
then
level 8
At
is
level
Greater Magic Fang.
18, you can use it as a level 3 spell. Congratulations.
Well, you're not using the spell though. I mean, you're never gonna get Magic Fang on all of your summons, so you can summon 50 whatever. And
I mean, I
you
guess
can
that's
use
true.
Inspire Ferocity, and they'll all have all these abilities on them. I mean, personally, I think the base Bard is probably in general better, but I don't have used this to be effective in the Midnight Isles, which made me
Yeah.
like it. Like it was pretty effective.
Guys, we have a quick question. Does the Inspire Ferocity, it works on pet allies, but does it work on wild shape or transforming into animal allies?
I would
Probably
think
not.
so, but I would have to test it. There you go. We both
Let me
give
read
two
the
different
actual
answers.
thing.
I feel like when it says pet allies, it's talking about animal companions.
Yeah, it probably is. I'll say this: it should affect all animals that are allied, is what it should do. Like
But
I would
from
agree.
the flavor of it.
wild-shaped party members are not considered animals.
That's true.
Because you
They're not.
can't use animal growth on wild-shaped party members.
That's true.
Also,
Wow.
I'm upset because I tested this at the end of my stream on Tuesday. So aspect of animal aspect, which is a polymorph ability, a polymorph spell, will not trigger the mythic I can't remember the name of it, but the one that gives you a +4 increase to all of your physical stats whenever you're polymorphed. Those do not work together, despite the fact that animal aspect is a polymorph spell. That was something else that I learned about polymorphing very recently.
I would say that if you want to do summoning, this is great considering how very little you trade off for it.
Also worth noting, the spell-like ability summons are minutes per level, not rounds
those
per
are
level.
always great. It's like
Yeah,
isn't that like
yeah.
Monster Tactician? They get theirs as like spell like
Yeah,
abilities.
there's not many
Yeah.
archetypes that get this.
Yeah, which is
Just
really
the
really
two.
nice.
Nirok actually also points out a good thing. The key word in Inspire Ferocity is pet allies.
Yeah.
In his
Right.
summoned and pet allies, not animal allies.
That's what my point was. Is like
Yeah.
pet allies makes it seem like animal companions.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
but your
we
friends are
all
not
know
pets,
that
more. Your
we-
friends are
we-
not pets.
we all know that the wording in these things is not always accurate. Though.
That
I
is
mean, we already
true.
had an
That
example.
is true.
We already had an example with that with the base bard.
Yep.
Good archetype.
But yeah, you
it's very
lose
niche.
Inspire Competence. I feel like if you're gonna be doing a summoner, this is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think I do agree as well.
Do I? It's like
Because
it's
you
like,
get all the way up to Summon Nature's Ally 9.
yeah. This is the thing is like I put it at kind of like mid-level in terms of like the bard archetypes because I don't think like I can compare it to other bard archetypes because it's a summoning archetype. But out of the summoning ones, I think this is one of the best ones, if not the best. Like I think maybe Monster Tactician's better because of the teamwork feat stuff, but other than that, this is like top tier summoning. You know, I mean, it's definitely not fucking alchemist summoning archetype, that garbage piece of shit.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah,
is
it's
yeah.
You don't get now. Here's another thing to note: you do not get both summoning feats. You get one of them, but you do not
Yeah.
get superior summoning.
But you get so many other bonuses to your summons that spending one feat on superior
Oh
summoning
yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that
not a
that should
big
be
deal.
something to take away from it. I'm just saying that this is something to keep in mind. You would still want to get this feat at some point.
Yes, for sure. Don't miss out.
For sure.
I think Herald Caller is the only one that gets both, and they literally get nothing else for summons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it is a cleric though.
yeah, it's
Clerics
a
don't get a whole lot of extra shit, regardless.
No, but they can AoE buff all of their summons, I guess.
Yeah.
Igor
that's the
does
main-
point out that Monster Tactician does get Summon Monster, not Nature's Ally.
Yeah,
I
which is
know,
better.
and
That
it's
is
so
also
much
better.
Yep, it's better.
On the
What's
other
this
hand, I
item
think
tactic?
Summon
don't need
Nature's
dice
Ally
to
does
put
get
on
you
it.
wolves, though, right?
Yes, if you want the trip party, I hear what you're saying. But like, look at some of Nature's Ally 9. Do you need Mastodons? No.
Mastodons also get trip.
Yeah, but they're not hard to kill.
Mine is.
But Mastodon
Manny is a beast.
Yeah. In Kingmaker, you can kill Mastodons so easy.
pets are difficult to kill, but like whenever you're fighting them or there's summons or something, yeah, they die super easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the same with any summon, though. Any summon is going to be shit. Like,
I don't know,
Yes,
I thought-
Mastodons
they are-
I thought
they are
summons
designed to
were
be
pretty
disposable
decent in
creatures.
Kingmaker, but in
I
Wrath,
get that all
they're
these
literal
animals
shit.
do trip, guys, but you realize that unless you like do stuff to make everyone's trips better,
Yeah, it's gonna
it's not
miss.
like it's gonna be that effective. Like a summoned wolf trying to trip high level demons isn't gonna do anything.
Which one is the animate dead archetype? That would be the Lich Mythic Path.
The Dirge Bard.
which I think is my favorite as far as
I was gonna
flavor
say, do we
goes.
want to just go there then?
Yeah.
It's
Alright.
it's next.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome.
I love the Dirge Bard.
What's not to like?
I don't know. I
It's-
know nothing about it yet.
If you want to be a necromancer, but instead of reading books like a wizard, you want to play music, it's the Dirge Bard.
The only thing you lose is well versed, which kind of sucks, but isn't really that big of a.
You also
that
lose
and
Jack of all
That
trades,
and Jack of all trades, but that is
sir.
like literally nothing.
It's a +1 to all skills. Get out of here
And honestly,
with
with your
which is terrible.
reductiveness.
I would rather have a +4 against fear, curses, and death instead of fucking Sonic, like performance and Sonic effects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Ooh.
Demon sing. There's a couple
Oh,
out there
sure.
that do, but that's it.
In the
Bonus
second
on
act, all those
intimidate
Dyrachni
checks.
are pretty
Equal to half
Uh,
his level.
can be difficult, but
You get cause fear, waves of fatigue, which is a great spell.
It
Banshee
is.
blast. Command undead is stupid. There's not enough undead in this game, but whatever. Uh, yeah, bonus to intimidation checks, like you said, and DC on spells with fear effects. See, this wouldn't be great for Pondor because he hates when frightened creatures run away from him.
I do not like it.
it doesn't actually fear anything, though, right?
No,
Pretty
but
sure
you
there's
get
nothing
bonus
that
to fear
actually feels.
spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, you're losing almost nothing, and even if you don't use any fear spells, just like
Yeah.
you said, just getting the +4 bonus to saves on fear, curses, and death effects is
I
better than
think-
well versed. You said, so it's worth it for that alone. And then you also get Dance of the Dead, which is freaking awesome. Just
Yeah.
prancing around, playing your little
I'm
flute,
gonna
while
run away real
skeletons
quick.
frickin' dig
My
up
cat
through the
is
ground.
meowing a whole lot, and I need to figure out what the hell is going on with him. I'll be back in just a second.
There's
The
not
best part of
really-
Dirge Bard is making undead count as people for your spells. Is that a thing?
Is that one of the effects here? It sounds right. Sounds like it should have that if it
Yes, it uses mind affecting spells to affect undead as if they were living creatures, and they are counted as humanoids, which means you can mass enlarge person them.
doesn't. Oh, you said mind affecting spells though, or is it?
It says they also count as humanoids,
Hmm.
which is all you need for a enlarge person spell. They just have to be humanoid.
Okay. Probably not going to be practical to do that. I guess you do have the AOE, like you have mass enlarged person. You could use.
Igor has given me a
Alright, she was just
great
being a potential.
idea.
All right, what is it? So I can steal it.
What? No, it was mass enlarged person. What level is that spell though? Do Bard? I don't think bards even
Level
get that
level
spell.
5. Yeah. I
What are
don't
we
think
looking
you
at?
get it either. Mass enlarged person.
They not
Uh,
get that?
Bards get that?
I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it.
I
I was
can't
gonna
find
say.
it. Sorry,
Yeah, just-
Igor, your plan is foiled. I guess you, because it has to be the bard's
You could-
spells that you use it. Like someone else can't use.
You might be able to use it from a scroll. I'm not sure how that would work. It probably wouldn't work still because, yeah, unless you created the
Yeah,
scroll, I
you would
guess.
use a scroll. But we were talking about skellies that you summoned as a dirge bard count as humanoid creatures, so you could potentially mass enlarge them.
Oh, interesting.
I will say, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if. I think in my video I said that if you don't care about the decrease on skill bonuses, which is like 1 to all skill checks, congratulations, not that great. This is like Bard Plus. This is like if
Yeah.
you're gonna play a Bard, just choose this instead because it's Bard but better.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Where does it
There's
say
no
that they're
point in
treated like
not-
humanoids?
Yeah, I was looking for that too. I couldn't find it, but I
It's
seem to
under
remember
the-
it being that way.
It's under where it lists the different fear spells you get. It says a Dirge Bard may use mind affecting spells to affect undead as if they were living creatures. Undead creatures are treated as humanoids for the purposes of determining which spells affect them.
Oh. Well, enlarged person isn't a mind affecting effect, so anybody could use enlarged person.
I don't think
I'm
that's.
pretty sure the Bard has to use the spell, is the way I read that.
Yeah.
No,
It
it says
says the
undead
Dirge
creatures are
Bard-
treated as humanoids for the purpose of determining which
It's
spells
part of
affect
the
them.
same sentence
doesn't
that
say-
says a Dirge Bard may use spells.
But they're like it's two separate
It
clauses.
could go either way. It could go either way. That's
Yeah.
something you'd have to test. Even if they meant it one way or the other, they could have just worded it the other way. or
I
a
agree, they
different
don't
way.
lose Bardic Knowledge, but they do lose Jack of all trades. That's what I was getting at. It's
Yeah.
plus all skills, not that great anyway.
Yeah.
And
mean,
a
pretty
Haunted Eyes is just flat out better than Well Versed. So it's Bard Plus. New Bard Plus, guys.
Yep. So Dirge Bard, awesome.
Awesome. Good one.
All right. All right. Now we've got a little bit of competition for Archaeologist as the worst archetype.
And- and this-
Flame Dancer.
Dirge Bard gets great religion checks, which is awesome because like no companion is really good at religion skill.
I mean,
That's like one of
that would be any bard though, right?
No, this one gets a specific bonus to them. On top of everything else.
Where does it
So
say that?
like
Yeah.
it says bonus equal to half the bard level 1
Oh,
lore.
okay, yeah, I see
Isn't
it.
that
I see
what you normally get from Bardic Knowledge, though?
Bardic
Yes.
knowledge
Bardic
is
knowledge is
half as
on
class
all
level.
knowledge and lore checks.
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
So you do get this as a bard, and you get, the other lore and the other 2 knowledges.
Cool.
Okay. Flame Dancer.
Flamey boy. Again, like you're getting rid of the fear songs and the skill song for Fire Dance and Fan the Flame and extra fire spells. So this is like if you don't want to be a fire damage bard, don't go anywhere near this because this is all that it's going to do is be a fire damage bard.
And if you do want
It's
to be
only
a fire
3
damage
spells as
bard,
well.
just take Dirge Bard and get the Salamander Ring. Because
If you're playing
you're
through the
only
normal
getting 3
campaign.
spells, only one of them's pretty good. Fireball, Burning Arc, Burning Hands, not really that great, and your Fire Dance here is crap. And look at everything you're giving up for it.
Yeah,
That
the
sucks.
fire resistance isn't huge. It's not enough to really negate any damage you might do against your party with fire spells anyway.
Also, just get,
Well, it's not just that, but it's the
protection
same amount
from
of fire
energy.
resistance you get from the protection from energy spell, which if you don't have somebody with that in your party, you better find somebody with it.
There's
just
so many sources for that spell. Like almost every spellcaster can cast those spells.
Yep.
Is there one that doesn't?
I don't think does the bard actually get it? I don't think the bard
I
actually.
think it does. Pretty sure it does, right?
I'm looking right now. It doesn't look.
No.
But I know, like.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
Rangers do.
Igor says Flame Dancer sucks. Next one.
Yeah, Flame Dancer's real bad.
Terrible. Like, I mean, at least archaeologists had something like specific that it could do better, even if that thing it could do better sucks and doesn't matter that much. This
Flame Dancer's real bad.
This is like trying to be 2 things at once: a fire damage caster and a bard, and it's not doing either of them well.
Either one very well.
It's a very half-assed. Well, like, because Fan the Flames, I would say if it went the same way that the Beast Hammer went, where it's like we're giving you access to all the way up to level 9 spells of the fire type, which there's not even a level 9 fire spell. We will give you access to the primary fire spell of each spell level as high as it can go as spell-like abilities that you can use X number of times per day. That I would be like, okay, that would be a bit more interesting because then you would get, controlled fireball, fire snake, flame strike.
It's only giving you the 3 worst fire spells.
Yeah, it's literally giving you
until level 8. You don't even get until level 8.
Yeah, and it's not even giving you like Scorching Ray.
Here's the harsh reality. Half of the archetypes, all the archetypes that are based on the tabletop, are more created for the tabletop because of the diversified roleplay value. Yeah. It's not translating well to the game. Like Flame Dancer, fantastic in a tabletop probably. You're a bard who sings and has fun and can also shoot fireballs. Other bards can't do that. But in a video game, it's very very difficult to make that effective.
Yeah, the benefits for roleplay are so minimal for this archetype that the mechanical failure just overwhelms it entirely.
Yeah, it's terrible. Which every single class has at least 1 or 2 archetypes that are probably garbage, and the game could have done without. But hey, they wanted to be able to say they had like 125 classes or whatever, so they're here.
Trash. Throw it in the garbage.
Thundercaller.
You lose Bardic Knowledge, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't like Thundercaller a whole lot, but if you want to like I don't know. If you want to do some electric damage, then
You're
yeah, I guess
Sonic
so.
damage.
Or excuse me, sonic
The
damage.
Thunder
No, it's
Call is
electric
sonic
too.
damage.
You get
Well,
Storm Call.
you get Storm Call though, which is electric damage. So
Okay.
what I
So
should have said is
you have both.
electric damage in addition to
Yeah.
which Storm Call is actually pretty cool. I do like that it increases the damage if there's a storm going on, or
That's
if there's
cool.
like an air elemental that has unleashed like a vortex or whatever. Like that's pretty sweet. I do like that, but I feel like that there's just that's not going to happen enough for
Yeah,
it to matter.
that's
I mean,
super RNG dependent. I would not.
yeah. I guess if you don't need them to have bardic knowledge, like if you have all that stuff covered and you're not going to be using like shatter defenses with anybody, so the loss of Dirge of Doom isn't too big of a deal, then I could get behind playing this as long as those two things. Because besides that, like the only other thing you lose is Frightening Tune, which I would probably not use anyways.
You lose Dirge of Doom.
And yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Like if you're not using Shatter Defenses, the loss of Dirge of
Oh,
Doom
sorry.
is extremely minor. And then the Inspire Competence, I don't really give much of any value to that anyways. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could see you using it. I still don't like it as much as
Like the primary
Dirge
thing
or
that you
base
get
Bard,
is also Thunder Call, because that's 9d8 once you get up to 19th level, which is not a bad chunk of damage.
well, yeah, and that's pretty flavorful too. Like the feel of it, like the role play for it. It's not a lot of times that you get an ability that has like a good role play feel in an archetype that's also decently effective.
Yeah. Hey, the route for the Kingmaker speedrun before I came into it used Valerie as a Thundercaller bard, and she was the only party member that you actually kept all the way through the game. So this used to have a spot in the Kingmaker speedrun.
I think Thundercall is very niche.
The damage for Thundercall doesn't have a save for it, I don't think. The fort save is to avoid being stunned. So there's also a stun potential for this as well.
Thundercall's good. I mean,
it was stagger. Is it stunned?
No, it is stunned for 1 round.
It is stunned. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, pretty good. Or it could be good.
If you revive the Queen as a Lich, she comes back as a Thundercaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is annoying, but whatever.
What? Doesn't she have to be charismatic to be a bard? I thought there's nothing charismatic about a raging bitch, is there?
Yeah, she's like a level 50 paladin in the game, and then somehow she comes back as this charismatic undead Thundercaller bard. Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
It's fine. You know what?
She doesn't have charisma.
It's not fine. It's terrible.
That's just the game saying, just leave her dead. She deserves it.
I don't think she's that charismatic. I mean, I definitely try to bang her every playthrough, but I'm not going to say she's charismatic.
Never once.
No, she's definitely not. She's extremely hateable, which is kind of a slap in the face to liches everywhere, because whenever you revive her, she's actually like super thankful to you, and she's like, "Yes, thank you so much." Whereas like everybody else is like, "No, I don't want to be an undead. Let me die." And she's just like, "Yes, you're so awesome."
Yeah, she's like,
"You, Owlcat."
She like full heel turns at that point. She's like, "Yeah, I can't even think of. Iobade sucks. Served her for so long, and she lets this happen. Fuck her."
You sound like you're half drunk.
I mean, that's basically her.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like the super devout people in these video games, just like something bad happens to them
instantly.
Instant 180, like, I thought my devoutness was foolproof.
Yeah.
Nope.
She got jokered. One bad day. That's all it takes.
Thundercaller is cool. I think it's very like you're either gonna build around Thundercall or you're wasting your time.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
make the Sonic damage good or
there. Did we talk about Incite Rage yet?
Incite Rage is dumb because
Skald
does it better.
Yeah,
because what does it better?
Skald
could be helpful.
Does it? Because this is on enemies. This is not on allies. You can prevent your enemy spellcasters from casting spells.
Well, there's not that many spellcasters in a group of enemies.
I wouldn't use it, but I could see
I
where
mean,
somebody might.
Just think about this. You're on the final boss fight. She's a spellcaster primarily. You cast this, she rolls a 1. No spells that whole fight. She's just done. All she has is her melee attacks.
You just gotta do what I do and kill the spellcaster first.
Oh. Yeah, I mean that would be great, but you're just gonna save.
It's all fun and
Just
games.
save scum until she rolls the 1. Damn it!
Listen, Condor, it's all fun and games
the
until
words
you
right out of
give.
my mouth.
It's all fun and games until you give a Balor +2 to Strength and Constitution. Okay.
I'm talking about fighting Miss Arilu herself, sir.
Yeah.
Also, a +2 to Strength and Con on a Balor. The Con is gonna do more than the Strength. Like, let's be honest, a +2 to Strength or a Balor is a drop in the ocean. It does not matter.
Every point matters.
That is a +1 to attack and damage. I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot. If it's going to kill you, that +1 to damage is not going to make a difference.
No. If you want to use it, go for it, but I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, I kind of like the Thundercaller.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's got some interesting and cool stuffs to it.
Yeah, if you want to use Thundercalling, definitely recommend it. So, Tranquil Whisper. Last one.
This is one of my favorites. I played this one with my Trickster as a just pure buffing bard. Okay, you get to do morale bonuses to AC that goes up to +4.
It's pretty rare, isn't it?
You get to grant morale bonus to saving throws against mind affecting effects equal to the AC bonus. And you grant everyone blind sense. And then also, you yourself gain immunity to confusion and mind affecting effects and count as an outsider.
That is at level 20.
Yes.
So for the majority of the game, you're not going to have that.
I feel like I mostly got mind fucked at the end of the game, so it's fair. But I love this. The AC bonus was great for me playing through. I much preferred it to Inspire Competence.
Inspire Competence sucks.
Yeah. And Inspire Courage is it's also competence bonuses. Like, you can there's lots of spells that do bonuses to attack and damage, I feel like, across all the caster characters.
Are they competence bonuses?
Yeah, I don't think you get.
How often do you get competence bonuses to attack?
Those are usually from items.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a more defensive player. That's
Yeah, maybe. Because I'm trying to think, where do you get competence bonuses on attack and damage?
But morale for AC and saving throws is one of my faves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the same could definitely be said about morale for defensive abilities. That is basically unheard of, I believe. I think this might be one of, like, if not the only, like, one of maybe 2 or 3 sources of morale bonuses to AC in the game.
Yeah, because even Good Hope doesn't do it for AC.
Yeah. So
I can see using this over the others. Like, I like it.
Yeah, if you're feeling like your
is also a really pretty color.
If your defense is lacking and you feel like that extra AC is going to help, then for sure. I'm still stuck on what other sources of competence for attack and damage is there.
Yeah, I don't think there are many, if any. Definitely nothing that's coming to mind.
Yeah, like I can't think of any. So I think these might both be unique. If not, like I said, there might be like 1 or 2 other sources for them. But yeah, the competence to attack and damage, as well as the morale to AC, are both incredibly rare. And yeah, you're other than that, you're not really giving up a whole lot. You're giving up well versed, and the deadly performance, which, let's be honest, deadly performance is not.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started playing tabletop, I looked at all these and I'm like, oh my god, look at all these level 20s where you just get an instant kill move. You know, like, when you
Right.
first start looking at this stuff, it's like, oh my god, I could just like murder a person outright and it's great. And then you start like playing and you're like, oh, that's never gonna actually happen.
Yeah, I love that in Kingmaker where it's like, yeah, you don't get past level 18, buddy.
Yeah.
I think what this one comes down to is I feel like it's on par with a bard, and it's, do you want bonuses to attack and damage, or do you want bonuses to AC?
Yeah, this I feel is 100% personal preference.
Yeah,
I do not think that Tranquil Whisper or Bard is better than either of the others. Or like
no,
Tranquil Whisper and Bard compared directly, I feel like they are equal. It's
yes,
just down to personal preference.
yep.
I'll say this. Generally speaking, having a higher attack is more powerful than having a higher AC. Like the faster you kill thing. I don't know. I think I might put the regular like maybe slightly above.
But I think it
because of
comes
that.
down
That
to
does
like,
depend also on difficulty, right?
it also depends on like how many sources of different bonuses do you have for attack and damage in your party versus defense.
Yeah.
So
That is also true. I'm just
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
On higher difficulties, I think
why I was saying that.
boosting your offensive abilities is far higher than boosting your AC, because
yes,
you get to a point where, you know,
It
they're
doesn't matter
going
how
to be
much you
hitting
boost your
you if
AC.
they hit you,
Yeah.
and displacement effects and blur effects are far more useful and necessary than higher AC. But like on lower difficulties,
yeah.
you know,
On
that
harder
plus 4 to
diff-
AC at 17th level, like you might just make it so that most enemies can't touch you.
On higher difficulties, it's a lot of who strikes first.
Yeah.
And strikes hardest.
So that is
but-
also something to take into consideration. On higher
Yeah.
difficulties, I would say Tranquil Whisper does start to lose out compared to Bard and the other archetypes.
I would probably agree.
Maybe not all other archetypes, but at least Bard and Dirge Bard. Maybe Thundercaller.
Well, I'm specifically saying compared to on easier difficulties, Tranquil Whisper like gets better the easier the difficulty,
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I agree.
So across all of these archetypes, I would obviously do Dirge Bard at the top.
Yeah.
Tranquil Whisper and Bard are like, go back and forth depending on difficulty. And then for me personally, I would do Archaeologist, then Thundercaller, then Flame Dancers in the garbage, and Beast Tamers off to the side because you can't really compare it.
All right. What
That's
about
how I
you,
would do it.
Fondor?
I would say Dirge Bard. I like Dirge Bard. Thundercaller is really cool. And then I would put Tranquil Whisper / Bard, Beast Tamer, Archaeologist, Flame Dancer.
I don't think Thundercaller adds enough good stuff. Like the one thing, it has one good thing that it adds.
I would
And
say
to
2 good things and 1 interesting potential. Because you have the Thunder Call, which is guaranteed damage. There's no save for the damage, so you're just going to be doing that much. And you can potentially stun everybody that hears it. Unless they make their fort save. Which, against demons, you're not going to be getting the fort save, but not everybody in this game is a demon.
Yeah.
It also has, the Storm Call, and then I just think Incite range enemies is not good, but I think it can be fun.
Yeah. I agree. It could be.
So
For sure.
I think it brings enough to definitely bring it over Dirge Bard, and like I said, the more we talked about Archaeologist, the less I liked it.
I think the electrical damage for me is hard because you're gonna need to take Ascendant Element to make it work, and you get 0 electric spells as a bard. Like, this is the only electric damage you're doing. I guess you could take that ring that gives you the electric spells, but
That, and also
Yeah,
this is it's only 1 round of your performance to do this as well. So you could do this a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, you can't.
I
do
guess
it a
so.
lot.
Like I said, I was able to use I think I'm like level I just got level 18 or level 8 spells, so I'm like level 15. And I have like 30 something rounds per day of bardic performance. That's a lot. Like you're not
There
going to
are
run out of that
bracers.
many rounds.
There are bracers that turn all damage electric, Is that just spells? Or like
Mm,
all spells and effects?
I would imagine like all elemental damage or something. Maybe all spell
Because
damage.
that would be cool if
I mean-
you used Thunder Call and had electric damage that didn't have a save with it.
Oh yeah, there's no save for this either. Also, like the level 20 deadly performance doesn't mean shit. So you could take one level in sorcerer or something that gives you a bloodline,
Oh,
and
that's
then you
true.
just take the draconic bloodline for electricity damage, which gives all of your spells that do elemental damage electricity
That
damage.
actually might be a dip that I find wholly acceptable.
So then all of your sonic damage will be electricity. And then, you know, that also boosts up the usefulness of Ascendant Element.
Yeah. Being a sorcerer bard makes sense. Better than the people who go fucking monk paladin as if you could ever be both of those in real life.
Hey. Speaking as somebody
There's
who's currently
no-
playing a monk paladin, shut your face.
There is no IRL roleplay scenario where you could ever be both a paladin of a knightly order and a monk. You can't be both
do you mean?
things in real life.
What do you mean? What do you
You
actually
can't.
mean?
Why
You
not?
can't be you can't live in a monastery and also be part of a paladin order. That doesn't make any sense.
Not every monk
Couldn't
lives in a
you-
monastery. You could just
in the
be
fantasy worlds, they
a-
pretty much do.
Well, couldn't you
Okay,
like live in the monastery and then the monastery burned down, so you join the knightly order or something?
Yeah, like
Don't
there
you
are
need- so
definitely
you were
ways
like-
to roleplay a monk
So
paladin.
you were
Can
like
you
a
be a
monk
part of
until
a
you-
knightly order without having any material possessions? Because monks don't have material possessions.
Well, what if you
Uh,
fight as a monk, but you worship a good deity and they start blessing you with paladin abilities? Because that's all a
Issues.
paladin is. Like, you don't necessarily have to wear the heavy armor and use the weaponry. You're just blessed by a deity. Yeah. Walk them statements back, sir. Walk them
No,
statements
I
back.
don't know if I would let a player do it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You just don't like that they would be too strong.
I don't care. I think people making OP decisions is perfectly fine. I just want it to make logical sense.
I mean, that does make logical sense. If you're a monk
doesn't-
that dedicates themselves to improving their body, but they worship a good deity and they're doing acts in the name of a good deity, would that deity not then bless them as if they would another paladin?
Potentially, but I feel like most of the deities. Oh, I mean, I guess there's like a couple that would work.
Yeah.
But
Is Aurori a good deity? Or is she
no,
neutral?
it's lawful, but I think you can be lawful good.
Yeah.
That would be the one, I guess.
I mean, like, even if like, you're a lawful good monk, like Saren Ray, you're saying that Saren Ray wouldn't bless a monk with her.
Saren Ray is definitely a neutral good deity, I'm pretty sure.
Right, but you don't have, like, if you're a lawful good monk, you can
Oh,
still
yeah.
Yeah, like, they're like any neutral good, lawful good, or lawful neutral deity. I feel like you could roleplay. Like, you would have to workshop it, obviously. You would have to, come up with reasons, but I don't see any particular reason why a monk paladin is like immediately unfeasible.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would put them in the order of Dirge Bard first, then Tranquil Whisperer, then Thundercaller. Then I would go with Beast Tamer, and then Archaeologist and Flame Dancer. And I don't know. You can put the regular Bard wherever you want in there. I don't think it really matters too much, I guess.
Flame Dancer in the garbage.
Yeah,
the one
it's real
thing
bad.
I'll agree on.
It's real bad,
I
guys.
think
I actually do have one more. I was not going to put Tranquil Whisperer that high, but Matt over here pointed out that since they nerfed Guarded Hearth, it's now a competence bonus, and I would pretty much always have Guarded Hearth most likely in a playthrough. So that's why I moved up Tranquil Whisperer. to second place.
What was it
Fair.
before?
It was all, I think it was all a sacred bonus.
Ah. When did that happen?
Like before the Treasure of the Midnight Isles DLC came out, so like
Oh,
6
okay.
months ago,
I
maybe,
wasn't
something like that.
I
7
wasn't
months
really
ago.
keeping up with Wrath
Sad nerf.
updates for a while.
That's a sad
Yeah.
nerf.
Yeah, Guarded Hearth is nowhere near as good as it used to be, but it's still really good.
Is that a-
Definitely not as good as it used to be, though.
Well, we all agree that Dirge Bard is great, and we all agree that Flame Dancer sucks. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, okay, it does.
All right. Now that we're done with the Bard, let's move on to the
Skald,
class that everybody should be playing.
the Bardbarian.
All right,
I'm
let me
so
read
sad
up
that they
real
don't
quick.
actually have it called the Bardbarian.
Nope, it's not a Barbarian. It's a Skald, which is basically
Which is basically a Bardbarian, yeah.
yeah, it's basically like a Viking bard.
Huh.
But anyways, Skald's pretty awesome.
Sure.
They do get bardic knowledge, they get a
Martial
nice
weapons
little bonus
and medium
combat
armor.
feat. They also get scribe scrolls to start off. Yeah, martial weapons and medium armor, all good stuff. They get well versed at level 2, same as a bard. They get Skald talents in a very similar manner to the bard talents, although I think the bard may have gotten 5. Does the bard get 5, or did they only get 4?
I think they get 5.
At 5.
Yeah, so they do get one more talent there. We get Uncanny Dodge, which is nice. Song of Strength, which is kind of meh. A lot like Song of Competence or whatever.
Yeah,
the
well,
bard
and
is.
it's not even that. Like, it's strength-based skill checks with it,
It's
which
just
is
for athletics.
athletics.
Which, if you have an animal
yeah.
companion, no one needs to have that.
I wasn't trying to say that it was the same as that. I was just saying it's kind of meh. Like, to me, it doesn't really matter the same way that the Inspire Competence one doesn't really matter to me.
You get improved Uncanny Dodge as well.
That is
which
nice.
Yep. Very, very
Song
nice.
of the Fallen is cool.
You still get Dirge of Doom, which to me is the most important song that the Bard has.
Yep.
So nice to still see that there. Raging Song can become a swift action, which is cool. And then Song of the Fallen, which I've not used very many times, but it's pretty sweet whenever it actually happens and you get to revive your allies with it.
I feel like
what?
I feel like having 3 DR is just like, why even have the DR on there at all then?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the damage resistance in this game is garbage anyways. And yeah, only getting 3 of it doesn't really matter. Lore Master also doesn't really matter. And those are really the only things that I feel like don't matter here. Well, those in the
Master Skald.
Anyways, the best thing that they get by far is the rage powers, instead of singing and sharing whatever inspired courage or whatever, they get to actually share their rage powers. And there are some really overpowered rage
That is cool.
powers.
Yeah.
That just kind of break. And I would say the Skald is almost necessary if you're going to play on like hard or unfair difficulty with a party. It's not necessary, but I would say it's as close to necessary as you can get, just because of how overpowered it is to be able to give your entire party the Barbarian rage powers.
Yeah, that's kind of broken.
So Igor said the damage reduction is shared with your party, and you can boost it with the increased damage reduction rage power.
Okay, it's still garbage though. It's 3 damage, which doesn't matter. Maybe if you're playing on like, I don't know, story mode or something, 3 damage might matter.
Yeah, and eventually, like with if you used every single rage power, you would only bring it up to DR 12, which is still nothing.
To be fair, DR 12, if you're going up against like Meriliths, that's 6 attacks per round. That's what, 72 damage that you save in one round?
So we're gonna dedicate our entire class to fighting Meriliths?
Well, I'm just saying that's an example of a large chunk of damage that you would lose. And like, well, I mean, there's also the what are they called? The Lilitus. They get like 5 attacks per round, and they do a good chunk of damage with each of their attacks.
Okay, I do just want to point out again that we are talking about using all of our rage powers for this, though.
That is fair.
And you should be using none of your rage powers for this. So
and
you're only really going to be preventing
also
15 of the Lilitu's damage, which is incredibly negligible.
you can also just get Stone Skin. And then there you go. There's a lot. You know, there's DR10 right there. What are you doing, kitten? Here you go. Jump down now.
All right. It looks like the spell list as well is the exact same as the bard.
Probably,
yeah. It's exactly the same as the bards. They get a 3/4 attack progression, the same
I'm
as the
cool
bard.
with that. I like the bard spell list a lot. So
yeah, I agree. For a medium progression caster, it's a good list.
Yeah. Cool. So Battle Scion is instead of rage
mostly
powers.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says
you can actually do it instead, so it's mostly better as long as you don't mind losing barded knowledge, because you can still take rage powers, but you can also take teamwork feats.
Do you share the teamwork feats as well then?
Yeah, you do, but it takes three rounds of your raging song instead of one. So you know, if you've got 30 rounds of it, then you really only get 10.
You do get bardic knowledge and courtly presence.
Yeah, so this, you know, half your level to persuasion to intimidate, and you get half your class to knowledge world.
I feel like in most instances, this is probably going to be as good or better than the regular Skald.
Yeah, this seems like it's just strictly better.
It's more flexible, right? Like it's versatile Skald plus instead of just being a Skald. Like
I mean,
there's no reason to not take this because you don't have to do the teamwork feats if you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, the only thing that you lose is half your class level to 3 skills, which you can pick those up from other characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's losing almost nothing. So you always want to go Battle Scion.
And like persuasion is pretty valuable instead anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're already a charisma caster, boosting up your persuasion.
You can really do some intimidation stuff with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to point out for everybody though that even though you're able to take the teamwork feats, it's almost always better to just still take the barbarian rage powers. You know, so you have that option.
Yeah.
But I would say unless you're trying to do something really, really specific that's probably not going to be as good, but you want to do it anyways, then you still shouldn't take the teamwork feats.
And I mean, like, you could there's other sources of team-wide teamwork feats as well. Like Azada gives them, you know, you could grab a Cavalier and get them that way. There's definitely other sources where you could just give the whole party teamwork feats.
Igor said in the tabletop, the actual ability gives you any combat feat instead of the rage powers, but they nerfed it for the game.
Okay.
That would be interesting. Like, what if you gave everyone combat feats?
I think the rage powers would still be better. Like, maybe if they didn't have to meet the prerequisites for it, maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I would assume that you would have to ignore prereqs.
But the rage powers are already so freaking... Well, it doesn't... I want to say like, with the teamwork feats here, don't they not ignore prereqs? Like, they have to... I think right here, like, they have to qualify for them to be able to get them. As long as those allies also meet the prerequisites. So if they're going to have that stipulation for the teamwork feats, I imagine they'd have it for the regular feats as well.
Do any of the teamwork feats have prereqs?
Yeah, yes. Like, seize the moment, like requires combat reflexes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you
I think that's the only one though.
The only sure, like,
anyone can take outflank.
No, outflank though does have a prereq. Its prereq is
BAB
bonus
4, I think.
5.
It's
got to be BAB 5, so you can't actually get it until you're level 7 if you're a 3/4 progression.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, BAB
adding defeats, because if you look at possible selections, some of the different totems are gone. Is that just a typo or
probably?
Yeah, I think that this just isn't working correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, we've run into that before where it just doesn't show everything, or it just doesn't show anything.
Yeah, I think that that's what's happening here. Patrick Rydberg does want to point out, and I didn't realize this, but I think he is right. We can look through to make sure. But says that the Skald does get a couple of extra spells, like rage, specific spells, like probably enrage. But I
Okay.
don't know if there are any other ones.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
Uh,
say this.
It gets
When
rage
it,
as a level 2 spell, which is interesting because that's usually a level 3.
well, level 3. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say this: when it comes to totems, I went over the totems, the powers, on my videos for sure. You
Yeah.
can't go wrong with most of them. Never do the fiend
Yeah,
totem
fiend
because
is
they don't
terrible.
affect evil characters.
Yeah, terrible
That's the
for the
one that you
setting.
never want to do.
Demon Dancer makes me sad because of that. It's like, oh, in any other setting, because it's
Uh,
just like the way the Demon Dancer feels, it sounds like the description they give it. And then it's like, nope, it's total garbage in this game
Yeah.
because it uses the Fiend totem.
yeah, so ignore the fiend totems, but the rest of them, like you can find uses for any of them. It just depends on how you want to play.
Right.
I feel
Yeah,
like there's not really a wrong way to go besides taking fiend.
Yep.
I would say would, I think that Beast, at least combat wise, mechanically, for
Yeah,
maxing out your stats, Beast Totem is definitely by far the best. Maybe, I don't know, the Celestial or whatever has some uses.
I like spell
Um,
resistance, but besides that, I don't know.
yeah. But
I
with the
like
Beast Totem, like it gets pretty freaking wicked. You can give like your entire party +9 to attack, +4 to AC, and they get freaking pounce. Like it gets pretty crazy.
I do
Yep.
like lethal accuracy, deadly accuracy, lethal stance.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I always use is the lethal stance and
Yeah,
deadly accuracy for
it's a
sure.
good one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's the best for
Yeah.
most
So
situations.
anyway, definitely Bard plus.
Yeah,
Ignore the fiend totem. Don't bother with the teamwork feats. Our personal recommendation.
yeah, I agree. If
Yep.
you want
Very,
teamwork feats, just pick them up with your regular feats and
yeah.
have them that way.
Someone needs to be a
Yeah.
cavalier, or someone needs to, I don't know, do something else.
Zada
All right, cool.
boy.
So
Battle
then,
Singer. This
Battle
guy gives
Singer,
up rage powers to do shouty things, right?
but I do want to point out that they are interesting shouty things because they actually play off of each other. Like if you use them in sequential order, then like they have increased effects, which is pretty cool. Like if you use first verse and then second verse and then third
Uh,
verse, it gets stronger as long as you're using them in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one will actually cost nothing if you've used the first two like immediately before it, and it has like +4 to its spell DC, um, or I guess not spell DC, but just DC, uh, and it's also maximized.
and
So
you only lose the 3 rage powers. You still get 3 rage powers.
to be clear, I still
Interesting.
think Battle Scion is better, but there are some interesting mechanics or ways that this worked to where it's
This
like,
Would you?
is,
if
I will
you want to
say,
do
this one
something
is
different,
far
I'm
better
cool with it.
in turn-based than it is in real time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
In
probably.
real
The way
time,
that
this
the
is
verses
so
work.
micromanagey.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like this is just like if you think this is more interesting than Battle Scion, then choose it over Battle Scion kind
Yeah.
of thing. Just kind of like a personal preference issue, but I mean it seems cool.
You don't get
I
you don't
agree.
get the bonus
And,
to intimidation.
and you still have enough rage powers to do like an entire like line of rage powers
Yeah,
because
you
they're
can
in
get
three.
a full totem.
You can do a
Yeah.
full totem set still.
Yep.
So yeah,
I
I
dig
like
it.
Battle Singer.
I'm
Pretty
digging
good.
it. I like it.
Yep. Potentially,
Now here's the
I
one.
would say like this is really cool if you take it on turn based. If you're playing real time, I would not bother. Unless you want to just keep your focus on this character specifically.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're somebody like Nicola who is real time with pause only, like devoutly, then you're probably right on Pondor.
I ain't got time for that turn based shit.
All right, so Court Poet, actually pretty interesting, pretty good. It's one of my favorites here. I don't think it's one of the best, but the insightful contemplation is pretty nice, and it's a way to just gain charisma, especially whenever you're having charisma based DC casters or tanks. It's just a way to gain some extra charisma beyond what you normally could.
Interesting.
This is like
Um,
really good to buff like if you have like backline casters, you can just
yeah,
give them all
uh,
int and charisma.
yeah,
I mean, this is
just something else
also
to.
if you are, hey, if you're one of them monk paladins that Unsung loves so much,
Oh yeah,
this is
yeah. That's
this is also, boosting up their AC, it's boosting up their saves.
Yeah, if you're going with an entirely overpowered charisma based character, then you definitely want to get one of these as a mercenary so that because then you'll get double the effects from the charisma bonuses that you're seeing here.
Cool. I don't mind giving up Song of Strength or Well Versed. Don't really care about either of them.
Yep.
Like well versed a little bit, but it's not that important.
Well, what Sonic attacks and Bardic performances do you need saving throws against?
Darachne, and the damn little bug things or whatever. Pretty
Yo,
heavy and act. Yeah.
Ellipsy, thank you very much for the raid.
Oh, I thought you said no.
Is that the
No, also
captain?
no to you. I don't know what you.
Is
I
that
don't even know what I said.
I was
the
distracted by the
captain?
raid. I don't know what you said, but no, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that
thank
was
you very much for coming in, Raiders. We are currently comparing the Bard and the Skald. We just got done with the Bard a minute ago. We're currently going through the Skald, and we are talking about the court poet archetype in particular. Yeah, welcome in.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy.
Insightful spell is interesting. Eventually, +5 damage to damage dealing spells for all of you and your allies. So this is really good if you have like a spellcaster heavy party.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
mean,
it is just flat. It's not like per dice rolled or something like that, because I know that that's something that.
Yeah, it's not really that much damage, but it is something.
I mean, it's guaranteed damage.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah, I'm alright with that. What was the other stuff? Handling the crowd, AC.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's called Battle Scion for Sela and backtrack because she was making the caster unable to do their job. There is actually an ability that is toggleable in Wrath. They'll make it so that you do not accept the rage.
Yeah, yeah.
So that should not be yeah. It's something that most people don't know about because it's not something that comes up in most playthroughs, but yeah, that is a thing.
Yeah, and if you don't make use of it, then yeah, the Skald is just freaking terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely something you need to keep track of.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, I don't know. To me, the court poet is basically worse for most things. But if you've got some DC casters or some
It's niche.
overpowered level dipping charisma monk BS going on, if you have one of those two things going on,
I like that charisma.
You can definitely give this some consideration.
Yeah, like because like let's look at this from like an AoE standpoint. So you hit chain lightning and you hit 12 people. Chain lightning is what, a level 6 spell, so you'd be level 13, so you'd have a +3 to damage on every single person that you hit.
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually. With AoEs, that damage could definitely
ramps up.
Add up.
Also just the ability to increase. Oh wait. I guess you won't be able to have both of these at once, though.
What do you mean? Both of what?
Whenever a quarter. Oh, never mind. I thought that the insightful spell was a separate song from insightful contemplation.
Oh,
it's in addition to. That makes this way better than I thought it was. Okay, I thought it was an either or. I did not realize that they were the same thing.
Yep. So, yeah, court poet I think is pretty good if you're trying to do that with it.
Yeah, if you're looking for a more Yeah, like I guess it comes down to whether or not you have a spellcaster based party or a physical damage based party, right? Let's say if you have a
Yeah,
physical based party, Battle Scion is probably better. Court Poet is definitely better for a spellcaster.
Yeah,
for
agree.
sure.
All right,
All
moving
right,
on.
so Demon Dancer,
Let's
pretty
do it.
freaking terrible because it
Garbage.
takes all the fiend totems.
Garbage.
Yeah,
They said, "Oh, you didn't want these totems? Well, now you're locked into them. Good luck."
yeah. It's
You know what?
freaking
Just
whatever.
because we're fighting primarily evil things, which means that the Fiend Totems bonuses don't really mean anything, doesn't mean that this is necessarily bad.
It's
No,
just bad
it's
for the
actually
content.
exactly what it means. That's exactly what it means.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually,
It sucks because just think about it. Imagine like you're out there on the battlefield and you pull out your lute or you pull out your flute or whatever and you're like skipping around and you're playing your song and everybody starts sprouting freaking horns and spikes and stuff all over their body and start growing bigger and stronger and then like it seems so awesome, like such a really cool flavor,
yeah,
like I want to play it and I want it to be good because it just conjures up such good role playing images in my mind. But then it just is totally ineffective after you get your huge muscles and your big horns and everything. You just run around punching freaking brick walls, or you may as well be because you ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it's terrible for the setting. Hopefully, if we get a third Pathfinder game, they'll bring it back and they'll actually give us a game with a little bit of nuance where, it's not just, good versus evil or whatever. Like, maybe there'll be some hints of, sometimes good can be as bad as evil, something like
yeah.
that, where you're actually
No.
fighting some. Oh, yeah.
I
That's definitely what I'm wanting.
No.
I personally highly
Not
doubt.
expecting it, but
Yeah, I highly doubt a third Pathfinder game because like half their studio
yeah.
was like, "I don't want to work on Pathfinder ever again."
I don't think it'll happen either, especially because I don't think they could
Really,
get
I
much
hadn't
more.
actually heard that.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
they
think they
talk.
could get much more epic or awesome than this, anyways. Like even if they did want to, like I don't think there's a whole lot of room for up from here in Pathfinder.
I agree.
Yeah,
I would
Interesting.
love Starfinder.
yeah. Starfinder would be
I'd be interested in
amazing.
a Pathfinder 2e game.
I don't know. I'm pretty stoked for them going to 40K. I'm hoping maybe we get like two
Yeah,
40K games, and
I
then when they move on to Starfinder, like
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I
know
think
nothing
Rogue
about
yeah,
Traders.
40k.
I think Rogue Trader is going to be really, really cool. It's definitely more like arcadey, like steampunk in space, and then Starfinder is like pure sci-fi space opera, and I'm like, I want that. No one has done me good a CRPG that does that yet, and I want it so desperately. I
I
love
would
it.
say yeah, it's not so much space opera-y. It's more like Event Horizon-y with 40K.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, I dig the vibe
I
for
don't
sure.
know shit
freaking
about it,
awesome,
except that there's
amazing.
orcs in
But
space.
I'm very excited for it.
hell yeah,
But yeah. All right. Demon Dancer sucks. End of
Trash.
story.
Trash.
Herald of the Horn.
yep.
What do you get? Arcane Bond. Love
Hey,
it
I know
every
you guys
time.
love that.
Arcane Bond is freaking
And
awesome.
Arcane Bond trading for like what? Lore Master? Who cares about
Which is
taking 10
Lore
anyway?
Master is garbage.
Taking 10 at all in this
Yeah,
game is genuinely
that's
bad.
that's the only thing you're losing too. Look at everything you're getting
I
here.
was
That's
about
the
to
only
say,
thing you're
is that
losing.
really all you
Now,
lose?
yeah, nothing you're getting here is like super powerful, but you're literally losing an ability that like it couldn't make less difference. This ability,
Yeah.
unless it was a blank
Huh.
space. That's like the only way it can make less difference.
This is like just a different option of Skald Plus.
Yeah. The horn call is pretty cool. Enhances your sonic spells or spells with the sonic descriptor,
I like
increases
that.
your DC by 1. And actually it increases them again at 13th and 19th level, so you can actually get a full caster like spell DC with this, unlike with the bard. If you wanted a DC caster, you can get the same DC that you could get with level 9 spells of a full caster thanks to this, at least for your sonic spells,
Right.
which
Um,
is cool.
Question about Crumbling Blast.
I was gonna ask the same question, hoping one of you knew.
What is Horn of Blasting?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. I imagine it's some type of sonic ability that
Google.
could maybe stun or
Let's
stagger. I'm
Let's
also
specify
imagining it as an
Pathfinder, because
item.
apparently there's also a Horn of Blasting for D&D. It can be sounded as a normal horde, but if the command word is spoken, an instrument is played, it deals 5d6 points of sonic damage to creatures within a 40-foot cone, causes them to become deafened for 2d6 rounds. DC 16 fort save, reduces the damage by half, negates the deafening. Crystalline objects and creatures take 7d6 points of sonic damage with no save unless they're held, worn, or carried by. And then that is increased to whatever the hell. The bigger one actually does have a description. 10d6 sonic damage, stuns creatures for 1 round. Fort save reduces damage by half.
Yeah.
Not affected by spell resistance.
Yeah, so not
So that's
I like
bad.
it.
Not bad.
I like it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Not like game breaking or anything, but it's a nice little.
It's
addition to have.
it's a decent, and the DC
Besides-
is a sonic effect, so the DC is increased by
Yeah.
however many you have at that point.
So far, besides the token throwaway archetype that every class has, Skald is pretty damn strong.
It's
Yeah, I would say that
Across
every
all
one
of
of these
really
is
strong.
probably. I would say that every one of these is stronger in their zone, than the base, which
Yeah, for
is
sure.
not necessarily true for a lot of classes.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
way.
Definitely not true for the bard.
Yeah.
Um.
So, Herald of the Horn, definitely good as long as you're not wanting to take those teamwork feats, and you shouldn't. I would say you'd probably take this over even Battle Scion.
Yeah. Unless you're wanting to make your Skald your Intimidator,
That's true. It does have, yeah,
because
That's true.
it does get the bonus to intimidate checks.
yeah. If you plan to use intimidation, then go ahead and stick with that. Although you get Dirge of Doom, so it's kind of, I don't know. It's fine.
Oh yeah,
All
you
right.
you do get Dirge of Doom.
So Hunt Caller. Hunt Caller.
Caller.
Yeah.
It's
no.
giving everyone beast shape.
Yeah, this one is not. This one's not very
No.
good. It's
Yeah,
not
I was
as
gonna
bad
say,
as
I'm
the
not a
first
fan of that.
answer, but it sucks.
If you told me I was giving everyone, the top level of Dragonkind, then that would be something. But even then, unless your character is again, no matter how many of these polymorph type spells boost your physical stats, unless you already have good physical stats, it's not a big enough of a boost to make a difference. A wizard beast shaping is not going to be strong if their strength and dex start at 10.
Now,
And
just
if you
not-
have a wizard and your strength is at 10, you're not min-maxing properly, sir. And
Yeah,
or
bring
madam.
that shit down to 7.
If not
You-
5.
you can definitely build a skull to have pretty good physical stats though. So I feel like it could work here. I would imagine it working better here than it does with the druid actually.
But
Except that I think the druid could probably does get better.
The whole point is
it's
to be able to turn your
everybody.
allies
Right?
as well.
yeah, it's everybody.
Um,
You're changing your whole party, which I would say actually makes it worse.
I was gonna say the only thing that I could see this, the only way I could see this being viable is if you were doing something thematic, like you had you wanted some thematic party where everybody's changing shape or something. Other than that, it's just worse. You're losing 2 of your rage powers, which really sucks. You're using well versed, which maybe isn't that big of a deal, but it's still something. And you're getting Call of the Wild, which is just not that good.
So I'm trying to
does
see what do you get with Beast Shape 3? Would you like to hear what the description tells you?
I have a question first.
Mhm.
When you
Sure.
toggle Inspire Rage, does that only work on the song Inspire Rage?
I
If you
believe
want
so.
to not hear it?
You should be able to prevent yourself from becoming an animal with it too. I haven't tested it.
Okay,
You definitely should be able to.
still meh. But all right, go ahead, Pandora.
Yeah, pretty mean.
It says at 18th level they can choose the effects of Beast Shape 3.
Yeah.
It does not tell you what animals you can change into. Like, well, you should know. You should know this. Go check the druid spell list, nerd. Which I'm about to do, actually.
I would
Yeah,
say it's
you
not.
just
I wouldn't say this is
you just
garbage.
hurt my
Like,
feelings by. I don't think it's garbage either, but I think
but
it's clearly the worst one besides Demon Dancer, and I
it's
don't even think
so
it's close.
yeah, it's so niche that it's virtually unusable unless you're doing what you said.
Yeah, you basically have to build your entire party around it. I mean, like, okay, so if you are, here's one way. If you sack a feat to get the cast spells while wild shaped feat, that this could be a strict upgrade to your casters. It would make them a bit more hardy, a bit more tough to take down, increasing all their physical stats.
Uh-huh.
Get them a bit of extra health, get them a bit of extra AC and reflex saves and all that good stuff. So there is that, but that is a feat tax to be able to use that archetype, basically. Animal shapes. Shape 3. Okay. Where's beast shape 3? Just change staff. Remember when we spent like 40 minutes trying to figure out how the hell to use change staff?
That was fun though.
Yeah, actually, Matt points out something here that maybe this could be good for, the hunt collar could be good for a Midnight Isles. Like if you got like the natural attacks tailwind or something like that, then you could build your whole party, um, to where they at least have good physical stats, and maybe your spellcasters are just buffers. And you could use this to transform them to give them the buffs, and you still have enough to where you could get the beast totem rage powers and stuff. And so maybe in a situation like that, it might be pretty good. I still think it's the
Uh,
worst one
Wild
besides
shape
Demon Dancer, but maybe in something like that, it could be helpful.
under
Hmm.
wild shape spells won't make a difference because when you're under the effects of inspired rage, you can't cast spells. Period.
Yeah, that's why you want
And
to
call and
toggle it
Call
off
of the
on your
Wild is
casters.
an add-on to inspired rage. It's not a separate song.
Oh, I thought it was a separate thing.
The Skald is like less songs than the Bard, but they're good at making their like inspired rage have many different like effects. That's kind of
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
keep looking at this as different bard songs. Uncollar is part
Yeah,
of that
it's not.
healing tailwind as well. I don't remember what was the like limitation of the healing tailwind, because I just remember it being every time you kill a person, heal everybody.
Yeah, no, I think that's all that. I don't think there was a limitation to it. Like every time that you kill somebody, I think you gain like one, or you heal for like 1d6 per level or something like that. I don't remember there being a limitation. It's been a long time though. It's been like 6 months. So
Yeah, I got it my first time ever.
yeah, I only had it once. I
Uh
remember it was like that. That is so freaking
oh,
good.
you need characters with certain classes or archetypes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's got to be like the primal druid, the wildland.
Yeah,
Maybe not
Primal
wildland
Druid,
shaman,
Sacred
but
Huntsmaster, Sylvan
yeah,
Trickster,
Larry.
Hunt
Yeah, and
Caller, Sylvan Sorcerer, or Feral
yep,
Champion, War Priest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I
yep. I
remember
remember
that
that
they're
now.
like every one of them has had a requirement. I just couldn't remember what that one was.
Yeah, I
It's
don't remember
just,
either.
have a few good archetypes, which Sacred Huntsmaster Inquisitor is great.
Yeah, I'd say most of those are pretty
yeah.
pretty damn good.
Primal Druid's real
So
cool.
for Skald, I mean, Battle Scion or Current Poet, depending how you want to play.
Yep.
Battle Singer right after. Herald of the Horns, also kind of just a different way of playing Skald Plus. Hunt Callers at the bottom besides Garbage Demon Dancer. I would honestly, because it's so niche, I'd put Hunt Caller below base Skald.
Yeah, you would need to really build your party specifically to take advantage of the hunt color. It's not something that you can just throw in as your sixth party member and just be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's really niche. Definitely not as good as any of the rest of them. I don't know. For me, I would put Battle Scion, Herald of the Horn, and the Base Skald actually all kind of on the same level, because while I do think Herald of the Horn and Battle Scion are a little bit better than the Base Skald, um, like I feel like they're all pretty close, and like based on what you're trying to do, what minor differences you want. Like I feel like yeah, like none of them is that much better than any of the other ones, even though some might be clearly a little bit better. And then after those three, I would think I would have to put the court poet. I might even put the court poet in the same freaking area. I guess I'll go below the next tier down or whatever. Because court poet in most situations is definitely not as good, but if you have a caster party, it's extremely good. I'd say it's
Yeah.
definitely one of the best support classes in the game. If you're running a caster party for what it does. And then after that, I would put the battle singer, then the hunt caller, and then demon dancer.
All right, my turn.
Yep, you're up.
All right, I would say Battle Scion is a strict upgrade over Skald.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you give up 3 knowledges, get a whole lot of stuffs. So I would say Court Poet and Battle Scion are probably top tier out of here, depending on whether or not you're going for a mate. Like you're saying, Court Poet if you're going for a caster party, Battle Scion if you're going for a physical damage party. After that, I would probably have Herald of the Horn, because you lose something that does not matter and you gain a fair bit for it. Which is also another thing that benefits spellcasters. Demon Dancer is trash, so that's on the bottom. Battle Singer I would put below Base Skald, I think. So I think it would be Battle Scion and Court Poet, then Herald of the Horn, then Skald, then Battle Singer, then Hunt Caller, and then Demon Dancer is how I would rank these.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
That's exactly how I. Yeah, yeah. And actually, the chat over here wants me to point out, since I should have done this probably at the very beginning, but the level 20, like a lot of the level 20 like capstone abilities are not very good for a lot of the classes. The one for the Skald is freaking phenomenal, and definitely you're probably not going to want to dip any levels, because this causes Inspired Rage to no longer give you any penalties at all. It doesn't limit any skills or abilities that anybody can use, and it puts you under the effects of a haste spell. Um, anyways, yeah, really good. I just wanted to
And
You get
another thing
that
to
all the
point
way.
that out. So
Does that mean that you
Hmm?
can cast spells?
no, you still can't cast spells, but like normally, I don't think you can make any skill checks aside from like intimidation or whatever while you're under it either.
I think
Right?
it's like athletics, mobility, and intimidation or something.
Yeah. But
I would
the main
say
thing
that
is you don't get the penalty to AC, and you're always under the effect of a haste spell.
the other thing to pay attention to is that only a few classes get this, but Scald is one of the handful of classes that has 2 high saving throws at the start.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Fort
It's
and
not
Will.
very
Yeah.
common.
Fort
It's not
and Will.
very common.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that they're the two most important too, at least in the beginning.
And they
To be
have
honest.
besides trickery, all of the important skills that you could potentially use. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they have almost all of the skills. Period.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
trickery is the only one they're missing, right? Athletics, mobility,
Uh,
intimidation. No, stealth. They're missing stealth. Stealth
yeah.
and trickery.
yeah,
Which
like
kinda
not
go hand in
all of them, but almost all of them are here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
so
it is a very hefty class skill list.
it's a very good class. Very good class.
All right.
Oh,
So which
We
one?
we got some time. We
So
want to
which
go
one's
through.
better,
We've
Bard or
done the
Skald?
Bard. We've done the
Skald is-
Barbarian. Do we want to do the Barbarian now?
Gold is by far better than Bard.
All right,
We've
that's what I wanted
done
to hear.
2 hours for 2 classes. So are we able to go all the way?
I think we could go through Barbarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would let you guys lead this one because I literally hate barbarians, so I don't play them.
The only Barbarian that I've played in a while was Amiri.
I don't like any class that requires me to like. I don't love raging for the most part, and I don't like not being able to be lawful. So
Yeah.
Says the trickster.
that was
Aside
for fun.
Aside from Amiri, the Mad Dog's mostly the only one I've really played. Oh, the Instinctual Warrior, I've dipped a lot. It can be a really nice dip.
Imagine a barbarian trickster.
Oof. But yeah, you're faster.
You could give yourself that spell that gives you crits, and just crit.
Well, Sense Vitals is
I
personal,
mean,
so you would need to have some way to.
no, he's talking about the one you get at
trickster
like
spell.
your level 9 spell or whatever. The one where for 3 turns you roll a 20 on like every roll no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
Trick Fate. That's the name of it.
Yeah. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's how you rack up like 2, 3, 4, 5, 20,000.
Bunch of problems hard enough until you solve them. Fair
Plus,
enough.
if anyone was gonna throw fish or summon beer elementals, it would definitely be a barbarian.
Dude,
I mean, yeah.
I made such a big deal over that. Like that's awesome.
So you get your basic rage ability, fast movement. I think this is probably the fastest that you can get improved uncanny dodge out of any class.
Probably, yeah.
Because you get improved uncanny dodge at level 5.
Yeah.
Like usually that's like a rogue advanced talent, which don't even unlock until level 10. So this is really, really early to get improved uncanny dodge. Danger sense, so you can just tank traps if you really feel like it. You get rage powers, which we were talking about earlier. You get damage reduction. DR5 just naturally. Will saves against enchantments. And then extra bonuses to your rage, which no longer tires you once you're level 17. Yeah.
I mean,
pretty simple for the most part.
It's pretty good because it has a full base attack progression bonus.
Yep.
But I'll just say, like with the Skald, like really, you may as well just play a Skald because with the Skald, there's no fatigue that you have to worry about after raging or anything like that, and you can do it to your entire party, and you get way more benefits, and you get spells. Like the only thing the Barbarian really has over a Skald is they get more rage powers, but you get enough with the Skald that you can pick
more
all
health.
The ones that really matter, all the ones that are really good, more health, and what a better attack progression. Danger sense is garbage. Damage reduction is garbage. I mean, you get uncanny dodge, but then the Skald also gets that. I guess you get faster movement. It's I don't know.
And
Like
the
Barbarian, I felt like
garbage.
I felt like the Barbarian was really good in Kingmaker, but with the addition of the Skald, like I feel like the Barbarian is just not very good here unless you play a Mad Dog.
Did you really? Because I thought Amiri was like the worst character ever.
Oh, wait, we forgot to do something for the Skald. We forgot to check something for the Skald. Skald is also a 3-star difficulty.
Oh,
but Barbarian's only a 1-star difficulty, so get fucked. It's
1 star? Yeah,
1-star difficulty.
Toggle on and go.
Because you just click one button at the beginning of fight and just run in.
Yeah, biggest downside of the Barbarian, their clothes are shit. Like there are classes I don't choose because I don't like the outfits on the characters. Like the Hunter and
Lorespire
Ranger
and I are over here
big,
talking about all the mechanics and Unsung's over there, but the fashion though.
Listen, the Hunter and Ranger are some cool classes, but they've got all of that fur wrapped around their ankles, and I'm like, why? Get out of here. Just wear regular shoes.
Wait, what do you mean? They live
Their
in
outfit.
fucking icy ass like tundra shit. What do you mean?
Rangers
Oh no,
and Hunters can
they're
live
keeping
anywhere.
their
Shut
feet
up. They
from.
can live anywhere. They can
Freezing.
live anywhere.
Are we talking about barbarians?
Yeah.
Well, if
They
they live
also
in
live
they
anywhere.
live in the icy ass tundra, then why is she wearing a crop top
Huh?
or whatever that is?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'm just
Rangers
saying,
and
like
I'm
that
just saying,
logic
but like
doesn't-
that,
doesn't
the
hold-
crop
it
top
doesn't
is
hold
less
up. That's
is
all I'm
more of an
saying.
issue than the furry boots. The furry boots would fit in that particular like
Yeah.
climate.
Not all barbarians live in the tundra.
What?
What are you talking about? Not
What are you
all of them
talking
live in the
about?
same area. Barbarians are everywhere.
No,
Yes.
no, they're all in the same spot. Shut up.
So are Rangers and Hunters. They're all over the place. It's a class. It's not a group of people.
No, it is.
No, rangers and hunters are only in the forest. Barbarians are only in the frozen tundra.
Yeah,
Yeah. So why can't
bards
they
are
have
Favorites
only
in
in
the
cities
cities.
and taverns. Have you
That's why I
ever
can
seen
have
a bard
favorites in the
outside of a
desert.
bar? No, it's why it's 3/4 of their
Okay,
name.
makes sense. So the deserts. So Rangers, the desert's your favorite terrain because they just read about it.
Yes, they're like, man, I
That's-
would like to visit that, but I am contractually obligated to stay in the forest for my
All right.
entire
As
life.
this show was my idea, you guys are both fired. That's what I think.
Fired.
Fired.
I'm getting paid.
What did
Wait,
I do?
where's my paycheck?
What the hell? You're screwing me, Pondor.
What? I did nothing.
You're the one being combative and
Always.
and confrontational, and I'm the one getting fired.
Always.
You said Rangers are only in the forest. You're fired.
Yeah, mine was clearly a joke.
Mine was totally for surezies serious, 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never known Pondor to be serious a day in his life unless you tell him that Fireball sucks.
I will say Fireball does suck. Controlled Fireball is much better.
Whatever. You know what I mean. Ball of Fire. Although watching Pondor is how I learned to like not have too diversified of a spell list and like plug like it's okay to have only one spell at a given spell level like take up all the slots. That's okay to do, effective to do.
Which is true. So good.
Yeah,
job
just
you
but
doing that.
I didn't play that way before. I was like, I want 2 of this, 3 of this, 2 of this, 1 of those.
Nope.
Like I was getting an assorted donut box from Krispy Kreme or something.
Every single spell controlled Fireball. Or Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray from level 2 to level 6.
With Meta Magic, you actually make it to where every single spell slot is just controlled Fireball because
Yes.
you just have it at different spell levels going upwards.
Heightened spell, every single spell from level 1 to level 9 magic missile.
Sure, that'll be great. All right, so Armored Hulk, the base barbarian is, you know, if you're new to the game, the base barbarian's fine, I guess, effective, not super great because of the Skald. Armored Hulk, on the other hand, if you want a heavy armored barbarian, then yeah, sure, I guess.
The concept is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
You get heavy armor proficiency for free.
You get to move faster in your heavy armor.
Yep. So it negates the speed penalty for heavy armor.
Would you rather move faster in heavy armor or be really good at dodging shit though?
Yeah, you do lose uncanny dodge and improved uncanny dodge, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think I would rather have the resilience of steel, though. I mean, look at that. You get a +6 to your AC by 18th level. That's pretty good.
That is
You
pretty
know,
good.
On top of
Yeah,
your
that is,
I mean, that's 20 just from your
It's
armor.
only on critical confirmation.
Yeah,
though.
I was about to say that's not great. It's not for everything. It's only against crits.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I should have finished reading that, huh? I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's not very good.
I think it's
So
cool
I would say
concept
that this is a
for
real bad
execution.
archetype.
sorry, I was
Yeah.
I was trying to give the barbarian something here, but
Yeah, because like
Would it be
Indomitable
cool to
Stance, you get a
be-
+1 on CMB and CMD.
Yeah.
Reflex against trample attacks, which how fucking often do you see that?
Like raging in heavy armor sounds terrifying, but also it's just not well executed. in
Yeah,
this game.
it's just you don't really get
Yeah.
anything.
yeah, it costs them too much.
If
You're
you
right.
want to wear,
You're
fighters
getting
is
a feat.
better.
You get a
It's
feat,
better.
and that's about it.
Well, I mean, you do get the rage powers also.
But like I'm saying, like
which
as
can
opposed
add
to just a
lot,
normal
but
barbarian.
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
we're comparing Armored Hulk to normal barbarian, basically the only thing that you're getting is a feat and a +6
Yeah.
against confirmation rolls on crit. Eh. Like the
Yeah, I would
Indomitable
say they're-
stance does nothing. The armored swiftness, like
I'd say they're comparable. If you want to wear heavy armor, then go with Armored Hulk. If you don't, go with Barbarian. I don't think either one is much better than the other. Much different than the other.
I mean, it's only 1 feat though. Like you could just take this at level 1.
I mean, I will say AC against crits is better than being able to have good defenses against traps, because you shouldn't be stupid enough to walk over them anyway.
I mean, that's
Danger Sense is
fair, but
freaking terrible. Yeah, absolutely horrible. The resilience of steel is a lot better than that, but I'd still.
You know
rather
what?
have
I was with Pondor on this one, but now I'm with Lore on this one. I think this is just fine if you just want to wear heavy armor instead.
Yeah.
you lose
It's just
uncanny
fine if you
dodge and
wanna wear
improved
heavy armor.
uncanny dodge, which hurts a lot.
Don't get flanked.
Oh, you're wearing heavy armor,
Okay.
which is going to add more to your AC than you're losing from that, anyways.
Um,
So I'm saying, like, if you want
the
heavy armor,
boosted
go with
speed
this, otherwise...
for wearing heavy armor is negated just by having fast movement as a normal barbarian. Like they both just increase it by the same amount.
Well, that's the point, because fast movement specifically talks about you wearing less armor to get it.
Yeah.
So it's replacing the different. That's what it's just a different.
It's also
That's why I'm
later.
saying, like, one's not better than the other. It's just, do you want to be a little bit faster and wear medium armor? Do you want to have heavy armor and maybe be a little bit slower? I'm not saying one's wrong or one's right. I'm saying they're almost exactly the same. Just which slight difference do you prefer? That's what I'm saying.
I think so. I would agree with that.
I'm not impressed with either of them so far.
Agreed. Now, Beastkin Berserker.
Like I keep saying, I'm like, yeah, this is really bad, and then I keep referring to the stuff that it's replacing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not great either.
So Calypsy says, so both of them are bad, and yes, I think we're kind of saying both of them are bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
In Kingmaker, no, but in this setting, definitely. That's what I would say.
Yeah, other classes wear heavy armor better. That's true. For sure.
So Beastkin Berserker.
I mean, it's just 3 rage powers for a different kind of rage power.
Yeah, you're just, if you want to transform into an animal instead of have a animal fury bite attack or what the hell ever rage power, then go with this. Again, I feel like there's not very much difference. You do get Savage Rapport, I guess. So maybe if you're trying to intimidate, this helps with that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I feel like
you get the wolf trips at level 4.
Yeah, this is just like, if you want to be a barbarian but you'd rather take these than the regular rage powers, then take this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy here.
All right, Instinctual Warrior, which is
there's not really much to talk about on these.
I was probably going to be the best one here, Instinctual Warrior, not because it's necessarily good, but just because it's great to just grab a, just a dip for something else. Like whenever you're playing a class that's actually good, you can dip this class, and that's helpful. But
yeah, you get wisdom bonus to freaking everything.
Yeah.
AC, CMD,
initiative.
Is it initiative? Where's that?
What fervent reflexes?
AC and initiative. I don't think you get it to saves with this, but yeah, AC and initiative for sure.
You get all the blind
initiative at 1. At level 2,
yeah,
CMD.
You get all the blind fights for free, and then you get you have your rage power list is expanded to also include a few key powers.
There you go. So
which is
get some of the.
I guess like you get less rage powers because of the blind fight things, I'm guessing, but you get more choice, and some of those are pretty good. Like
some of the key powers are really good.
Diamond Body, though, like that's pretty good choices. I wish you got rid of Danger Sense instead of the DR, but whatever.
Yeah, damage reduction isn't very good, but it's definitely better than Danger Sense.
It's definitely better than
Danger Sense. Definitely.
Focus.
Excuse me,
I
sir. Wait a
also
second.
like-
Wait a second. Did you just say Diamond Body is good?
I just say that they're all kind of like I've been poisoned in this game. Okay,
It's called delay poison.
that's true, but I'm just saying like in general, like these are defensive key powers. It's not like they gave you stupid offensive ones or something. I also like the focused rage. A lot.
Yeah.
Like you get the bonus to attack rolls and wisdom increases. Like it's the attack rolls and wisdom bonus, and then the wisdom like then also boosts
Yeah.
everything else because it's getting
Yeah, so
boosted.
you're getting +3 to your initiative, which in the middle of combat isn't really going to matter, but you are getting the +3 bonus to your AC also, which is nice.
And this is like very blind barbarian. You have all the blind fights, and then eventually you get blind sense and blind sight.
Yep.
Array attack, a gaze
You just-
attack will never hit you again.
All right.
Nope.
So basically, the moral of this archetype or this entire class so far is that if you want to be a badass barbarian, you need to poke both of your eyes out because this is by far better than anything else we've seen from the barbarian so far.
Yeah, Instinctual Warrior is easily the best archetype thus
Yeah,
far.
this is a raging monk.
Mhm.
Which is kind of a cool concept, to be honest. It's the monk without having to be lawful.
You don't
There
get
you
the
go.
increase to damage on unarmed attacks, though, right? I did miss that somewhere.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't.
You're
Yeah.
still a weapon using class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check just in case I missed it somewhere.
All right.
Super cool.
Yeah, I like the instinctual warrior.
All right.
Vulnerable rager, I think is going to be another one where it's like cool concept, but
I mean, you
poor
get
execution.
DR10 for free.
DR10 is enough DR to where you're starting to get into the realm of it kind of mattering, like you are, but it's not really for free because you do lose your uncanny and improved uncanny dodges. Danger sense doesn't matter though.
Hey,
So,
you know what's still better than danger sense? 6 points of fire and cold resistance. Still better than danger sense.
I don't actually think that's true.
I do.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
it's.
just-
I mean, it's.
if resistance is stacked, I would agree, but you're always going to have something that gives you more than 6 fire and cold resistance on. or at
Yeah,
least
as
you should.
well, if you know what to cast it for, right?
I mean, that's like literally nothing. Danger sense is like almost nothing. It's like a hair above nothing.
Well,
It's
I guess so like with my playstyle, like I tend to have haste on less for combat and more for movement because I'm impatient as hell. I'll just run through everything. So I do tend to a lot of times I will run into traps before they actually pop up and I don't see them. So danger sense would help me somewhat. But on the other end, most of those that do damage, it's mostly fireball traps. Like the vast majority of traps that you will run into are either going to be fatigue things, like waves of fatigue, which there's no save against and there's no dodging it. It's just going to hit you. Or fireball traps. Or like scorching ray traps. Where the fire resistance will come into play.
yep.
So-
those are all pretty. I don't know. You get a lot of welling banshee traps too, like towards the end.
I haven't really seen that many of those.
Yeah, it's mostly just like towards the end. You definitely get way more of the other ones because the other ones will be spread out throughout the entire game. But
All right. Yeah. I just like in the Isles, I just haven't run into that just yet. Which I am just now starting my 7th lap, so I'll probably start running into that more. But yeah, up to this point, it's mostly been fire damage.
Guys, hear me out. Ready? You got DR10. Increase DR on all of your rage powers for DR20. And then every feat DR for DR30. 30 DR. Because you can just use extra rage power every feat and just get DR30.
hey, DR30 is pretty respectable. Unfortunately, I think you're going to be able to get that without any investment, or at least close to it, from the new shifter classes coming up in a couple of weeks.
Also,
at
if you
one
did
of its
that, you wouldn't be
archetypes, at
good at
least.
anything else.
Yeah.
Just boost con, DR30, and just meat wall.
Oh my
Dude.
god.
Maybe that's what you should have done for your story mode. No experience. Oh no, because it's no experience. So never
Yes!
mind.
Yeah.
But if you had some type of viable story mode, I guess where you could get to level 20, then with DR30, you just everything hits you for 0, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't is spells, but you're just gonna freaking
I
reflex save out of
I want
those
to see
anyways
Punch
on
try it.
story mode.
I don't know. I feel like
DR30 meat sack. Just
I
dump
mean,
all the
I was
stats
also
and just
trying to do things in a reasonable amount of time. And so
no.
having literally nothing but DR feats kind of, makes you a fucking wet sock whenever you're trying to actually attack.
Hey, you do get a full base attack bonus progression
Yeah.
though, and it
That's what
is
they mean.
story mode. It is story mode, so you can't miss unless you roll a 1 anyways.
Not true.
Yeah, so
Not at all true. Not at
here
all
It's
true.
it's pretty damn close to true.
There
It's
are
pretty
Listen.
multiple
true.
enemies with 50 plus AC towards the end of the game.
That can't be true.
That is
you need
true.
to
That is legitimately true. I know the
see
Aeon
you.
has a 60 armor class in Threshold on story difficulty. I know this for a fact. I checked.
I'm gonna go check that because I have a story difficulty playthrough and I should have a save close to there. Because I definitely don't believe that because I never even upgraded my gear. Like I just
Oh,
ran through everything and still had like starting Act 1 weapons and just everything just died to auto attacks the whole way.
this is a great idea. You meat sack this guy up and then make a Skald character, and his rage powers are what you give the
Oh
barbarian.
Jesus! I get it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
like that too. Again, it just kind of shows you that with the Skald, you don't need a barbarian. Except for the Mad Dog, because why? The Mad Dog gives you pets, and pets are incredibly useful, or a pet
Yeah.
in this game. So if you have to play a barbarian and you want to actually be effective, definitely suggest the Mad Dog.
Animal
You get
companion.
Yeah,
Where are you?
get a cute little kitty or a big giant mammoth, and just go out there and whoop some ass.
Yeah, and eventually you get throat cutters. So whenever you like trip someone or whatever, your pet will attack, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice. You get the pack tactics and the ferocious trip to increase your
Yeah,
tripping abilities. And then yeah, throat cutter
I
if you eventually get there.
I dig it. This is the only one where I'm like, I mean, Instinctual Warrior too. These two are like the ones I'm like better than Barbarian, whereas Armored Hulk and Beast Skin are just kind of like options. Invulnerable Rager's pretty eh. Um, so I like Mad Dog though.
Yeah,
Animal
yeah. I
companions
mean,
are good. I like
animal
them.
companions are definitely good. I don't know.
And then
Yeah, some of the people over here they're saying that Mad Dog's actually their favorite class here over Instinctual Warrior for the dips because they like to dip up the Ferocious Trip, just for whatever classes they're grabbing, either Ferocious Trip or Pack Tactics for their actual animal companion class.
one of the things I love about Pathfinder 2e is that to be able to go into another class, you basically have to do like an archetype and dedicate at least a certain amount of time in that other class. So it stops you from being able to there's no dipping. You have to commit or you don't get
Well,
to do it at all.
Well, you
one
could
thing that
dip
I like
once. You could
about
take a 1-level dip, and then you're just locked out of other classes.
In 2e, no.
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, you could just never take another
Yeah, you just
archetype
don't
ever
multi-class
again.
past that second one.
I guess you could do that, but then you're really limiting your
I like
power.
Pathfinder's second edition, like just because it seems like way more freaking balanced, and
Yeah,
and like does not reward like power gaming at all.
I
Um,
agree.
it doesn't reward taking 20 different levels in 20 different classes, or just taking even 2 or 3 extra levels for whatever, which I guess is what you were getting at. But it seems way more freaking balanced. Even the classes, even if you were to do just full 20 level classes, the classes by comparison seem more balanced just because of
Yeah.
the role system that they have.
I would agree.
It's been a hot minute since I've looked at second edition, so I can't talk a whole lot on it because I've forgotten most of what I knew.
I've had to look at it a lot for this game.
I imagine.
At some point, I want to make videos going over stuff because there's not a whole lot of 2E videos online at all, really.
Yeah. I was having the same thoughts about that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Pack Ranger.
It's Barbarian Tactician.
Yeah, I guess more or less. Yeah, Barbarian Tactician, which for the Barbarian, unlike the Skald, I would say probably worth it to use your bonus feats on some teamwork feats. Instead of just getting like 10 rage powers, spending half your rage powers on teamwork feats, I feel like is worth it.
Yeah, you don't have the choice. You have to take teamwork feats.
Yeah, this one you have to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like that's a detriment. Like, I feel like that's better than having to take 10 rage powers.
Why do you still get 1 DR?
Yeah, DR1.
Why?
Because why not?
It makes so much difference.
No, not why not. The question is and always will be for this,
19,
why?
Level 10. It's got to be the level 10 one.
What the fuck? Wait, is that simply so that we could take extra DR?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe,
yeah, it's so that you can take increased DR rage power.
It's like, look, we're giving you 1 damage resistance so that you can get up to 6 damage resistance if you want to sacrifice everything that your class does for an amount of damage resistance.
Well, you can only get up to 4 with the rage powers here because you have to take this first before you can even take increased.
Huh? What?
Like, you don't get this DR till level 10, so you can only use 3 rage powers.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I was too hasty there. You're absolutely right.
4 DR for you.
Yeah, 4 DR if
okay.
I want to use up all my...
4 is like the grossest number, though. Like, 3 and 5 are like, very nice numbers, but fucking 4, man, come on.
I mean, if you want to be a barbarian and you want teamwork feats, then I would say that this is definitely the way to go. But I really think that you should just go a different way.
What? Does Skald have DR?
Yeah, 3 DR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought DR from classes stacked with other DR. Does it not?
I
don't think so. Most sources of DR don't stack.
I feel like it should.
Different sources of DR, like if you have DR/magic and DR/cold iron and DR/fire or whatever.
Oh, you know what? I think it doesn't because there are certain prestige classes, I think, that specifically say their DR stacks with if the classic goes into it has DR.
Okay.
I think normally
I was gonna say,
does.
Most of the time it will not stack. It'll just be like I said, if you have those 3 different sources of DR, not fire, because that's not a thing, but like lawful. Say you got lawful, magic, and cold iron. If the character is lawful but doesn't have a cold iron weapon or magic, then it'll get over the lawful DR, but you'll still have to deal with the other 2. And it'll only take the higher of the 2 on that one. But you actually have to like overcome each of the different sources of DR to get full damage in. Otherwise, it will at least get chunked down by the highest of the ones that remain.
Yeah, Barbarian's my least favorite fucking class, and this just goes to show that I was right.
Yeah, I'm not overly impressed, honestly. Like most of these, it's incredibly basic.
Pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure in my Barbarian video, I just said, if you want to be a Barbarian, just be a Blood Ranger instead. Or a Skald.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
do one of those two things
I mean,
instead.
I don't think the Blood Rager's that good either, although some of its archetypes are pretty good.
It's at least better than a fucking barbarian.
Yeah, you do at least get level 4 spells.
Like, I
which
feel
is-
like Mad Dog,
Eat
I feel like
them.
is the best out of these.
Blood Rager,
Yeah.
you can
Simply
eat
because
spells.
not even because of what the Barbarian gets, just the fact that you have an animal companion now.
yeah,
True.
I
Like,
agree.
I honestly feel like that's probably the best. It's like, yeah, just do this, get you a Mastodon or a Smilodon, and then go for it.
Actually, let's see. Matt's pointing out here that they don't even get a real capstone ability, which they don't, right? Like, maybe there's a rage power that's only
Mighty
available
Rage.
at level 20
yeah.
or
So
something?
it increases their bonus to +4 and also increases their temporary hit points to +4 per hit die.
I don't count that. Like, that's just the natural progression of their freaking rage.
Yeah, they
Like-
don't really get a capstone beyond that.
I guess technically that is their capstone, but that's freaking horrible for a capstone. Like, I don't think that should count.
Yeah, nope, nothing else, just that. So yeah, I would say Barbarian is easily the least impressive of the three that we've looked at today.
Yeah,
I'd say
easily the least
definitely it would
impressive of
go
the three.
Skald,
to think of
Bard,
another-
Barbarian.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a fucking fighter than a barbarian, even. Like,
Oh, fighters kick ass. So
Yeah.
fighters are freaking amazing.
yeah, they're just boring.
They are kind of boring, but they're incredibly effective.
Yep.
But barbarians are boring and also ineffective.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another class that might be worse than Barbarian. And it's kind of sad because I liked them so much in Kingmaker, but it's like, damn, like, I think this might really be the worst class in the game. I'm sure we could find an archetype somewhere else that's worse.
Oh yeah, for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
But
There are
Flame Dancer.
archetypes that are worse.
yeah,
Flame Dancer.
Flame,
Yeah.
Flame Dancer.
Flame Dancer for sure.
Flame Dancers. What
Flame
were the
Dancer.
other? What other ones did we go through?
There were garbage. It was Flame Dancer, and I don't think, or the Skald had one garbage. Demon Dancer. Demon Dancer is garbage.
Demon Dancer's bad. Fire Dancer's bad. Well, like, what about the ones that we went through last week? Defender of the True World and Face Speaker in this one.
Yeah, Defender of the True World's bad.
And Face Speaker. Yeah, those are the two I think that were.
At some point, I need to do like a tier list of all of the garbage archetypes we threw away, and then just all the tiers are just different levels of garbageness, and just rank the garbage archetypes.
Yeah,
Which
well,
is the bottom of the landfill.
yeah, there's
Angel
definitely
Fire
a lot to be
Apostle.
done off of this. Do the best, do the worst, do the mediumist.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we went through Barbarian pretty quickly because there wasn't much
Yeah,
there.
there's not much there. They're not great.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say Mad
I'll
Dog's
say-
the best. Instinctual Warrior or Pack Rager maybe the next best. Probably Pack Rager because at least it boosts up your other characters. I would
Instinctual
probably
Warrior is
take
just
Pack
kinda
Rager
cool.
as my second, and then Instinctual Warrior is the third, and then the rest of them are all in the trash.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I kind of have the same feeling. Yeah. Yeah, that's good enough. I agree with you, Pondor.
Yeah, I'm gonna toe the company line as well.
When the best archetype is only good because it buffs the other people in your party or brings a completely different character that's just better than you are.
Yeah. So
All
all
right.
right. Barbarian's pretty garbage. Y'all did help me realize maybe the Bard's a little bit better than what I gave it credit for today, so thank you for that.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for showing us the Skald, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
of
had
course.
seen the light.
never used a Skald before,
Yeah,
and
they're
had
freaking
did not
phenomenal.
know anything
So
about it.
good. So good.
Appreciate that.